Crossover.
Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover. It just crossed him over nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
The crossover is brought to you by Everlow Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlowconcrete.com.
Yeah.
Where did this go?
Yeah.
Hold on here.
Oops.
Yeah, we'll wait. It's fine.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. Oh, excuse me.
What are you doing?
What? Yeah, what's going on?
Oh,
over there?
you're reading a
my
political
phone
text.
is out of control today with political stuff.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So at 3 a.m.,
Or
a candidate
3
called me.
a.m.
it's you can end your campaigns now, right? The campaigns are over. There's
Yeah,
no
I feel like
need-
hay's in the barn now.
There's no
Yeah.
hay is definitely in
Hay's
the barn.
in the barn.
Poll question: is the hay in the barn for the election? Can you stop right now?
Yeah, it'd be nice.
I think after Friday.
Well, that's funny. When you hit stop on your replies, it seems to get more of them.
I know. That's why I just stopped
Yeah,
responding, and
yeah.
I keep getting them still. That has not
Oh,
worked.
Okay, somebody who is in the political game in this town, because I made this mention earlier that I woke up and at 3 a.m. I'd had a political text.
3 a.m.
Yes.
I got several
they're
after
grinding.
10 p.m.
They're
last night.
grinding.
So,
Whatever intern scheduled that text to go out.
You mean they're not
Got
up?
the AM PM.
You mean they're not pulling all nighters?
mixed up, right?
So I mentioned that on air this morning, and someone DM'd me and they said, "Oh, just wait this weekend
No,
because of Omaha, and
Oh,
Omaha
I
could
know.
be the place that changes the
I
presidential
know.
election."
We're in a political
He goes,
hotbed.
Yep.
He goes, "You are about to be bombarded this weekend."
Oh, cool. Can't
Damn
wait.
it.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
I'm getting my extra hour of sleep on Sunday morning. I'm going to wake up to a bunch of political texts. Cool.
I just want to get to Tuesday because Tuesday is like the greatest sporting event of all time. It is.
Action?
I love the election. I love election coverage. I love election night
He
coverage.
loves Kornacki.
I love Kornacki. I like Chuck Todd. I like the other guy.
They've reduced Chuck Todd's role because
Yeah.
he's no longer the host
Oh,
of Meet
Chuck
the Press.
Todd's on the board now, isn't he?
No, they moved him off of main NBC. I think he might be actually in the neighborhood of where Bryan Williams is over there streaming on Peacock.
Emeritus.
Oh yeah, Bryan Williams is doing like his own channel now, isn't he? Is he like Jim Rome? Like he's on Twitter?
But I'm with you. I have
Bryan Williams. I would tune in for some Bryan Williams. I love Bryan Williams. Just watching some Bryan Williams live TV.
I like his stories.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, his stories seem to be kind of interesting
because they're just that stories.
Yeah, he's just talking.
Stories, man.
He's just talking.
Yeah, so you get NBC. You could have Savannah.
Yeah, who's on the board on NBC?
So Kornacki is on the board.
Kornacki's on the board at CBS, right?
No, he's an NBC guy.
NBC.
Oh, who's CBS? Who's the CBS board?
I don't know. I don't watch CBS.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a
ABC. They used to have
Fox board.
They used to have Nate Silver from 538, and then they got rid of him.
And then he
after the
got it
last-
so wrong that
Yeah.
they're like, you can't do this anymore.
Analytics.
But like Fox,
I love analytics.
like the interactive boards are more like Fox and CNN.
Yeah.
Like Fox is like watching all the sports on Fox. They're promoting like this new technology they're
I
going to
love
have
them.
Tuesday.
So
night.
yeah, I guess I just love Kornacki.
I wish they would bring the robot in.
Yeah,
Like
just
the football robot.
You know what?
it is a
This
great.
would be awesome.
It's a great sporting event. It is sports.
I love the politics. I have a little anxiety, but
I don't love the politics. I love watching to find out the ebbs and the flows of the night.
well, that's all part
What's
of it.
coming up
That's all
next?
part of it.
It's
What
like,
I-
we're going into the third quarter here. We're
who
going to
won
make some
this?
halftime adjustments.
Who won this county?
Yeah.
Who's got a good drive
But
going
as
on?
a-
Now
Uh,
watch out. Omaha is usually a pretty
Hell
good
yeah.
harbinger of other things.
Yeah.
I think we're going to play a role.
Omaha wasn't decided until after midnight last year.
To see the
Or
trends.
last election. Yeah.
The
I was
last
just-
election that took a week.
Days.
Mhm.
Days.
Had to get it right.
So these are for us that like this night, like the political junkies. This is the night that I missed Tim Russert.
Oh,
Like Tim Russert on NBC.
Oh,
Yep.
there's a guy.
Now he was,
Yeah.
I mean, he carried us through this country trying to understand the hanging chads.
I know.
Yep.
I remember.
And he had-
that was
remember-
probably the night that got
Remember,
me into
he had his little
elections.
board. He didn't need no fancy board. He
Mhm.
just wrote with a marker on his little
Gosh.
whiteboard.
Yep.
And showed everybody how the math worked.
Man.
Now it's just everything's touchscreen.
It's Ohio.
technology.
It's Florida. Go Bills. I'm Tim Russert.
I don't even know. Like, and every 4 years, I have to relearn it again. What's a battleground state? Which state leans where? Who's winning where?
Who's going
Yeah.
to Ohio
Who traditionally
State,
wins?
Penn
Who
State?
flips?
See, I would like
Who
to see
flipped the
like
states?
I would like to see like ESPN cover the election, because then they could do well. They're winning the Big Ten region. The Democrats are doing much better in the old Pac-12 region.
Honestly, Gary, I think they should do that.
It would be great for people that
I
don't
would-
follow politics. It's a better understanding.
I would
Yep.
absolutely watch ESPN's. Well, maybe not ESPN's.
Fowler hosts with Kirk Herbstreit, Stephen A. Smith, and
Oh.
Mad Dog.
Stephen A. is the
So,
political analyst.
Yeah,
That would be the breakdown. Hey,
Stephen A. going head to head with Sean Hannity last week.
I'd watch.
It
the hell
happened.
out
And then
of that.
Mad
It
Dog.
happened.
I mean, Mad Dog versus Stephen A. is perfect because I feel like you have a couple guys who are on different sides of the aisle there.
Yeah,
Maybe a little bit just yelling at each other. And then who's the analytics nerd with the big board at ESPN? Who runs the board?
'cause they got rid of
Brad
Stanford
Edwards would have
Steve?
Stanford Steve.
been. Yeah,
the bear, not the
Well,
bear.
think
bear,
about
yeah,
it.
the bear would have been.
Think about like you have
Van Pelt. Van Pelt would host the live coverage.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, he'd be great.
Hello.
But like you've heard like some commentators say, and you can tell that they're like football fans, they'll say, you know what? This election is going to come down to the Big Ten states. So they start rattling off Wisconsin and Michigan and Pennsylvania. I'm like, that's the way to look at it.
That's why certain candidates are going to college football games.
going to some Big Ten games this week.
Some
Well,
are.
actually not
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah,
No.
not anymore.
He backed out.
It's
Mhm.
apparently all wrapped up.
Don't need to.
Hayes in the barn.
Hay is
So
in the barn.
stop politically texting
I
me.
respect it. I'll be
Mhm.
honest.
Stop
Yeah.
politically texting me.
You think they could take the weekend off? They go, hey, you know what? For America's sake, let's just
Yeah.
enjoy some football this weekend.
I think that would be a great move. I
but
think
then
that
one would bash the other, and the other
Yeah.
would bash the other.
Yeah.
But I can't believe you're tired.
You
You want to watch
stay-
football this
Yeah.
weekend?
instead of making it a competitive, like you just stay your ground. You're one of the candidates. You say, you know what? I'm done. And then if you want, you could watch a live stream of me sitting on my couch celebrating a campaign well run.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm thinking of my staff. They've been working just ungodly hours.
just gonna
Yeah.
call my shot right now. I wonder if one candidate will appear on Saturday Night Live tomorrow night.
Oh,
Ooh.
yeah, probably.
That's a good. That's like a little cameo.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's not far fetched.
Probably both. Let's just
That
do
would
it.
be awesome.
Let's just
That-
do
that
it right
would be
here.
Great. They're both on weekend up.
Now, would they be in the?
I mean, they're doing
would they
every
be in the
podcast.
dry open, or would they be in a sketch?
well, a sketch. Yes.
That'd be pretty funny.
I would.
That'd be pretty funny.
John Mulaney and Chapel Roan.
That's who.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I noticed.
I wonder if
Hey.
one candidate will show up.
Well, the musical guest has been very vocal about not endorsing either of those people.
Interesting.
I noticed they have Bill Burr.
Yeah.
For the first Saturday Night Live after the election.
Mhm.
Okay. That'll be pretty good.
The Bill Burr cycle is very similar to the Nick Wright cycle in that he says something outlandish, people get up in arms, and then find out who that person's married to, and then get confused all over again. It's the exact same cycle for those two people.
So
I like the Bill Burr cycle though.
like
Yeah.
the local elections that are going on, like how many texts will we get between 2:30 and 6 o'clock tomorrow
I
where
don't
they're
know.
not reading the room
Apparently-
of the state of Nebraska?
Apparently, Dan Osborne's got an unlimited texting plan.
He does.
That guy loves texting.
But who is more likely to be the candidate that trying to draw in the Husker crowd
Yeah.
sends out the tweet at 6 o'clock? Hey, congratulations on Nebraska beating
Oh.
UTEP.
Or USC.
Don't forget to vote
Good one.
blank for Senate.
Yeah.
Text
Nebraska beat UCLA today. That reminded me a lot of the 2015 Foster Farms Bowl.
One of the great historic matches ups of all time between those two.
That reminded
proud
me
schools.
of the game back in 1973.
Now,
Lincoln.
I will say that I got a robocall from Don Bacon's office.
You can't answer that phone.
Well-
gotta put it down.
Nah.
So, but I didn't, and I wanted to listen to the message, and it was like, "Hey, Gary, this is Johnny Rogers," and I was like, "That isn't Johnny. I have Jet in my phone."
Yeah, Johnny.
This is
no,
not
it's
Johnny
not.
Rogers.
This is-
I was
Hey,
like,
hey,
"Ah!"
Hey, Johnny.
He goes, "I just wanted to tell you about my good friend Don."
You're like, Johnny, are you calling me from your landline? I don't have that one.
Johnny, you could just call me.
I mean,
Yeah. I'm a text guy.
Connor, what other election have you gotten a call from Johnny or a text from Jordy?
I have never received I've never answered a phone call.
I was encouraged to get off the bench by Jordy. Told me to get off the bench. Yeah. I'm on the bench on all this stuff. I need to get off the bench.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I got a text from Jordy or anybody
I'll
else.
sign you up.
Yeah.
What
refer a friend.
What time of tomorrow would you like that text?
Please don't, because I got a text this morning that was addressed to my wife, and I said, "What?" And I said, "Come on now, did she do this to me?" And I go, "She wouldn't do that to me."
Is the phone plan in her name?
Instead of hitting stop, she's just deflecting all of
mine.
the texts to you.
I don't get it.
Now you three live in.
Is your daughter getting anything? Like, hello, little one. We know you can't vote, but we'd
That-
like you to tell your
That
parents
would be
to.
scary. I would probably throw my phone out
Yeah,
at that point.
that'd be a guts to go situation.
Yeah.
It's like I heard your kid was dressed up as a little baby pumpkin last night. Would you like to vote for me in the election?
Wasn't this like at the end of Parks
That
and
would be
Rec when they had Grizzle that was data mining everyone?
Yeah.
I feel like that would be
Now,
a Grizzle situation. It
You
would be.
three live where it's easier to get to your front door. Has anybody knocked on your front door?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
they're
did have
They're
one. Yeah.
canvassing.
Yeah.
They're canvassing.
My wife.
Did you
had to
hide
run
or
away.
did you answer the door?
Well, one day I was out mowing my lawn.
Oh,
And they still walked up to your door, or did they walk
Please
up
tell
to
me
you?
They walked up to me.
That's great. So while you were mowing, they came up to you.
Up to me. Yeah.
Yes.
They go, "Who you voting for?" I'm like, "I'm not going to tell you that."
Who are you campaigning for?
Yeah, who you campaigning for? Then not that person.
Yeah.
Oh no, I would tell them that it was the person that they're campaigning for. Just like, hey, we're on the same page.
Yeah.
You're preaching to the choir. You can go now.
And
Yeah.
then you say, you know what? I already mailed in my ballot.
No,
We're good.
And then they're like, "Well,
Oh, that's a good one too.
Yeah, I've already mailed it in. Sorry,
like,
can't undo that.
is there anything that could one way?" It's like, "No, not really."
They were going to argue with
Yeah.
you in the middle of
I'll
your
tell you,
yard.
I'm just going to go into that. I'm just going to go into that booth and I'm going to just wing it.
What if they said though, good lawn striping game?
That would
Then,
help.
then you would be like, oh, okay,
And then
let's talk.
There was another campaign. So I've gotten at least 4 of these. They're physical people.
Yeah. So you must be in a hotly contested neighborhood.
It's possible. I don't know. But there was one campaign that used pretty girls. They had pretty girls come knock on people's doors.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. I know.
Wait, okay. Pretty, and were they dressed a certain way?
No.
I'm seeing how far they'll go.
I'm just saying. They will stop at nothing.
That's true.
Nothing.
Did you at least shut your mower off, or did you keep it running while you were?
I shut it down.
Oh, you should have kept it going. Like, I can't hear you.
That would have been mean.
Doing something right now.
That would have been mean.
No, it wouldn't have. Just keep it going.
I don't know.
They-
I
they
don't know why
They
I
can
answered
clearly
the door.
see that you're doing something. I think it's actually well within your right of being a decent person just to keep mowing. Be like,
Well,
sorry.
then they go to everybody else's house and
and they'll come back to you.
well, they go to everybody else's house and nobody answers the door. And I'm the only guy this person's talked to for hours. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'll just talk. I'll talk to him, right? I'll tell him. I'll tell him
I
to.
wouldn't feel that bad.
I would roll the dice and say that person doesn't actually want to talk to anybody anymore.
Really, they're
Probably.
just they're just trying to make the paycheck,
Yeah.
make that dollar, or maybe they're volunteers.
They could be volunteers.
Who knows?
Or you should say,
I do-
You mean the real person that's running for this office couldn't go door to door?
Right.
I do answer the door though. This is a personal fault by me. I people come around and they sell stuff, and I answer.
I would never.
I answer.
God, your neighborhood must be like, okay, a highly contested political area,
It must be working. They
and
must be
people
working.
must
Buy.
know that they buy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They think I'm a sucker. I'm not, but I'm a sucker for listening to people.
All right. The
Oh.
last person that knocked on your
Oh.
door trying to sell something was.
I
what?
think it was for like for not a Ring doorbell, but a like a smart doorbell.
Oh.
It's like, we can get you this smart doorbell.
Really?
And he shows me out. He's got his iPad and he shows me all the great things that it does.
I think you're in a rare neighborhood in this town of door to door salesmen.
It's happening a lot. It's happening a lot.
Your house might be marked.
Maybe
How much of that stuff have you bought?
0. I've bought 0 things from anyone. I've never ordered a single thing.
Why you got to be mean to the Boy Scout that comes to your
But
door
maybe
to sell like a wreath?
Maybe they
For like
market
$80.
Maybe
Yeah,
they
because
mark
it's
it
an
and they say-
$80 wreath.
Yeah.
Maybe they
You
mark
know
it
what?
and they
This
say, well,
$40
this
tin of
guy,
popcorn?
This guy will answer his door.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you
You're
get
on
the
our list.
Well, yeah, that's half the battle because they know they're at least gonna be able to engage, and then it's ABC.
The,
Baby.
Then it's up to
the
seven.
Happers are on a
Exactly.
list.
They've got metrics and
Yep,
analytics.
yep. They're like, well, they'll answer the door, and that ups our success rate by almost 60%.
It's the whole thing with Nebraska. Like, do you want to get into the red zone, or would you rather them not get into the red zone? Because when they get in the red zone, there's no guarantee they're scoring.
Then there's a success rate of in the red zone.
But you'd still rather get into the red zone.
Yeah, you would because your chances increase, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a process oriented deal. I get. Yeah. No, I listen. I listen.
We do have a little no soliciting sign up next to our door.
That's a good move.
Yeah.
That's a good move.
I wouldn't say for the election stuff it hasn't worked because they're not necessarily, I guess,
They're soliciting for
in
votes.
in their world that's not soliciting.
This is the most important election of our lives.
It is.
It always
You're
is,
right,
isn't
Josh.
it?
You're right, Josh. They confront you with that, and then
I bought into that last election. Why are they doing it to me again?
Well, because
every election now
is the most important
it
election.
is.
I think that's every.
You know why?
election
You
ever.
know why Saturday is the most important game for Nebraska? Because it's the next game, just like the election.
Hey,
It's
a
you know
huge
why it's the
game.
most important one? Because it's the next election.
Full eligibility.
Mhm.
Grand China buffet.
It's all on the line. I'll see you there,
Smoking
right?
cigars. Oh yeah.
Smoking
Oh, I think
cigs.
Sunday's got a chance to be a banger in this state.
A Sunday banger.
A Sunday banger. People will be happy. People will go to church. The brunch spots will be packed.
Yep.
NFL slate looks fine.
Yeah, not great.
Yeah.
A little bit. You got the Packers Lions is a late game.
Yeah.
Bears Cardinals.
Not
Oh, okay.
doesn't. Do
I
anything
gave that
for
a
me.
positive grunt yesterday and was roundly mocked by everyone.
It
It's a
just,
good game.
it's just. You know.
Did you see how the Bears lost the last game? I mean, come on.
There's some fun offensive talent on both
Sure,
sides.
yeah.
Fun.
Watching a young rookie quarterback develop.
Fun and grunting.
That's right. A Sunday banger.
So that was more of a
Mm.
not a
All right. Well, you guys have yourself a wonderful day.
You guys
Wonderful
too.
show.
What do you think about volleyball tonight?
It's the most important sporting event of the weekend for Nebraska
and it's a whiteout.
Wow.
It's a whiteout.
Wow.
because Wisconsin.
I know.
Wisconsin is
Oh, they have a hex
yeah.
over them.
Wisconsin to Nebraska volleyball is what Texas football was to Nebraska football.
100%.
Can't beat them.
Yeah. And they're still pretty good.
You beat them occasionally.
Mhm.
They got a whiteout. They
My-
don't like Nebraska.
My question for tonight is can I get out of DJ Sokol Arena in under 80 minutes?
Okay, so 6
Yeah.
o'clock is first serve,
Yep.
and they are. It's not St. John's.
It doesn't matter.
Correct.
It's a three set.
Yeah.
It's a three setter.
It does not matter.
So
It
they-
is St.
You know what?
John's, for the
Thankfully,
record.
Creighton played like a really exciting non-con.
Yeah.
because the Big East does them no favor.
I
It
believe
was on purpose.
I believe Creighton is 36-2 from sets since their last loss.
Good Lord.
And like Marquette is not as good as they've been in the past.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
they
even
were
they,
rolling
they
through
even
the
took a
Big
set
East.
from them. you know.
Yeah. What's a promotion tonight?
It's
Oh, yeah.
it's a Spook and Spike Boojay Bash.
Oh hell yeah!
Are you going to talk that
the
way?
Boo J.
Spook and Spike Boojay Bash. No, but I was considering going to get a Halloween costume.
You probably could get one cheap today.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could.
Go
Like,
to.
what do you think I should be, like a banana or something?
I don't know. I noticed that a lot of old CBSs in this town have been turned into Halloween world.
Oh, Spirit Halloween.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the one on 132nd Center. I noticed that one. I got my Bane mask still in my bag. If you
Oh.
want to borrow it.
That would be scary.
Yeah, I couldn't. We tried for about 5 minutes yesterday and you couldn't hear me, so I took it.
That'd be bad.
We burn.
All right, so maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll stop by Spirit Halloween store and throw on.
Why don't you
something.
go as a panda bear?
Panda
Wearing
bear.
the whole panda costume?
That'd be funny.
You hold the microphone inside the costume?
That'd be pretty funny. the kids would be like, "Why is that panda talking? What's going on?"
There was
But they
actually
don't know you're talking because your lips aren't moving.
there was a very cool costume yesterday that they came up to trick or treat. It was two, I would say, probably 13-year-old ish. They look like they were early teens, and they, have you seen the like you're in the costume, but it has like the fake legs, so it looks like like those are your legs.
I love those.
They were in a roller coaster
That's
seat with the
awesome.
bar over them, and they
Oh.
walked up together, and then they would go up together and down, and then they move.
That's
it was
great.
yeah, it was really good. It was very good.
Oh, look at those! Look at those political figures. that's good.
Then there was also a political figure that was
So a friend of
someone who's
mine-
dressed as a political figure.
Somebody came to their
A
house
No, he was
Okay.
more again
Okay.
early teen.
Okay.
Friend of mine here in Omaha who said they get 300 to 400 trick-or-treaters.
Yeah, that's nuts.
We were close.
There were two little girls. They looked like twins. One was dressed as President Trump, and the other was dressed as Vice President Harris.
Kamala.
Oh, that's great.
With or without the
That's
orange
adorable.
vest?
No,
Look at my garbage truck.
I asked Gary that earlier today. I said, "Is that
like
is that the outfit from here on out?"
He rocks that thing, man.
Yeah, it's just there.
It's somehow more neon than him. It looks good on him.
See, what we need is if we're gonna follow that
Have you
theme.
seen my garbage truck?
Don't we need Stone Cold Steve Austin driving the garbage truck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Like
yeah,
through the gates of 1600.
good one.
Oh
good one.
yeah, that would be a
Um,
statement.
But so these two little trick-or-treaters, do you think they had any idea what they were dressed as?
Nope.
No.
Parents thought it'd be really cute.
They wanted to
Put
go
this on, get candy.
They
I bet
wa-
they got some questions from some homeowners.
some pressing questions.
Oh, really? Well, by
Who got more candy? That's what
by
I
your logic, no candy for you.
Didn't have any money to buy you candy. Groceries are
Now,
expensive.
whose fault is that?
Then the parents say,
And then-
"Talk about your all-time
Hey,
backfire."
and then you make
What if they were doing the whole bit too? Like the little Trump was like, "You've been in office for the last 4 years. What have you been doing?"
I'm fixing your stuff. I just need more time.
They had a routine. That would be great.
How old were they? Like 6 or 7?
they
Tops.
look
Younger,
yeah. So they look.
I would say
I bet they're
maybe 4 or 5.
4 or 5.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know what these
Just
people
give
are
them,
talking
just
about.
give them one line.
But what if they show
Yeah.
up to like a red dot house, and so the kid dressed as the vice president, they get no candy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, I'm sorry, I'm sticking to this. I get it. That's supposed to be cute and all, but no.
Yeah, in fact,
Not
you
budging.
in fact, you can get off my property.
It's not funny. These are not laughing matters.
What have they
Yeah,
done to their?
sorry.
What have they done to their two kids?
Yeah, it's tough.
The two twins. Like that picture will live forever.
I know those parents. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Like in 30 years, they might be, oh, sorry, you can't have this job. You dressed like Donald Trump for Halloween. You dressed like Kamala
Oh,
for
yeah,
Halloween.
They're gonna be Vox. Yep. Uh-oh. Again, not thinking it
So
through.
you go a long way with that.
I didn't pick it. My parents picked it.
I didn't know any better. It's
All right,
4.
I'm
right,
going
enjoy.
to gamble. You guys got any?
Gamble?
Locks for the weekend?
Iowa.
Nebraska.
Iowa.
Ooh, you like
To
Nebraska
cover the
getting 6.5?
3.5?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I
I just
like
don't
Iowa a
like
lot.
anybody by more than 3 in that Iowa-Wisconsin game.
I do.
That smells like a 1-2.
Ohio
Situation.
State.
Oh.
That's a
Okay.
pop. That's
Okay.
a popular one today on the gambling web.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lee even told us the wrong team's favored. Wisconsin outright beats Iowa, but
Mm.
I
So
disagree.
Lanning is 11-0 as a
Dang.
road favorite against the spread.
Hello.
I love that. I love Oregon against Michigan. Love Oregon.
Yeah.
Michigan, there's no way Michigan scores more than 10 points.
Maybe 13.
Some of that offense.
Maybe 13.
Maybe
Maybe a
13.
backdoor.
I mean,
field
that's
goal.
a
That smells like a 31-3 or something like that. You
sounds
know?
like typical Oregon. They run up and down the field. Dylan Gabriel throws for a bunch of yards.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's the Heisman front runner Sunday morning.
Michigan
like-
fans are
More
exiting
likely-
in the third quarter.
More likely in the Big Ten to win the Heisman Trophy or a national championship.
Is Dylan Gabriel the front runner for the Heisman right now?
He's
Number one team in the country, and he's
Yeah.
having kind of
Yeah.
quietly, but
He-
not.
Yeah, we're not talking about him as
Yeah.
if he is the Heisman favorite, but I think he is the Heisman favorite.
So it's like-
he, according to FanDuel, he's right behind Travis Hunter.
Okay.
And then ahead of Cam Ward,
Yes.
who Miami is going to do everything to get.
I
Cam
think
Ward
this is the
Heisman.
year you got to give it to Ashton Genty.
I would say so. That'd be my personal.
so you're going to say national championship, more likely. Oregon national championship.
Well, so Genty
or Big
has
Ten team.
Genty
Yeah,
has
maybe.
192 and 3 scores against Oregon on his resume.
Hell yeah, he does. Give it to that guy. Give it to Genty, the Genty man.
And then Colorado will be outraged.
Yeah, the Heisman is not chilling at your crib. Sorry. Curtis Rourke's on the list too. If you guys are interested,
Oh,
He's back,
really?
baby.
How high up?
plus 4,000. quite a gap between him and the guys in front
And
of
he
him.
missed a game.
Yep.
So that doesn't help.
But
They'd
man,
have to beat Ohio State.
Man, if
And
he comes back after
he'd have to
finger
throw for
surgery,
like 350
ooh,
against Ohio State.
Yeah.
maybe he will.
And they'd have
He
to be in the Big 12 or the Big 10 championship and have another big game.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like if they won the Big 10 championship
Beat
and
Oregon.
yeah,
That
Yeah.
could that
that would be
that would
the
catapult
only
him.
scenario.
That would catapult.
But
him.
he'd have to throw for 350, have huge numbers, and Indiana would have to win.
$100 on Curtis Rourke wins you $4,000.
Hello.
$4,000.
Boom.
Yeah. Give it to Genty.
All right, so national championship for the Big 10.
I
this
guess
year.
so, but I don't know about that either. I don't know. Oregon's good. Oregon's probably the Big Ten's best shot, but
You're not in love with it.
no. I still think it's going to be Georgia.
Yeah.
Really?
Georgia's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when Georgia wants to play,
Yeah.
take out the first half at Alabama,
I'd like to say the college football playoff.
and then they kind of
They're
messed
primed.
around with Mississippi State for a little bit, and then Kirby attacked a player, and they just flipped.
That's true.
But it brings into question because people are doing this after watching Texas last week. Is Texas really that good?
No.
Like, is anybody really elite in college football
Georgia.
this year? Georgia?
Georgia.
I wouldn't push back on that. I think their defense is filthy.
Would you be surprised that at the end of all this, we still get Georgia and Ohio State in the national championship game?
Wouldn't shock me.
The most the two talented teams in the country, two most talented teams
Yeah.
in the country.
That wouldn't be a bad matchup.
No,
And by the way, if Ohio State loses this weekend, they're still in the playoff. So much for your big games.
Could they
every
lose?
week
Thanks,
matters.
Kamala.
Could they?
Oh, sorry, that wasn't her. Okay.
Well, that 1 year it was Lou Holtz. The next is the vice president of Ryan Day postgame.
I want to know where Kamala is.
That's the next step to this. Starts calling people out, calling presidential candidates out.
All right.
All right,
Have a
cool.
good job.
That is the crossover powered by Every Level Concrete Repair in Omaha at everylevelconcrete.com. It's Friday. We'll start things off next.
It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620, The Zone.
Oh, baby, here we go. It is Friday on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer and Josh Odson with you. No travel in the forecast for our guests today.
Love it.
And they'll all be rocking with us from 10 to 2. Just like we're rocking with y'all.
We received a correspondence from one Stephen M. Sipple.
Yeah, I got a text at 8:32 this morning. It said, good to go today. Thumbs up. And I said, wow, that's as much of a confirmation as I've ever heard. 4 hours in advance of him coming on the show. Bryan Munson will join coming up at the top of the hour. Bryan Christopherson at 11:30 and our dear friend Steve Sipple at 12:30. That is the lineup powered by the Rooferees of John Higgins Weather Guard. Want to hear from you guys? 402-951-1620 on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. You can call or text that number. Tweet at Happer Show, at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Email Connor, Josh O at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And we say good morning to the YouTubers. What's up, brother? 1620 The Zone TV on YouTube or on our website or an arm of our website, zonetv.live. Elsewhere today, oh my goodness, are we full, Josh? I feel like it's feast week already with how full this show is.
It is a busy show.
Nebraska UCLA, a history lesson, and maybe, just maybe, a small cameo from our dear friend, 1940s man.
Well, I'll call him.
Maybe.
We'll see if he's available.
Oh, what's that just flashed up on the screen?
Chesterfield.
Oh, no, he couldn't hide him any longer. All right, so we'll have that, and it really actually is. We will flash back to the 40s as it pertains to the Nebraska UCLA rivalry over the years. Our top 5 poll questions from the month of October will be on the show today. I feel like we've had some good polls this month.
Very difficult to whittle it down to 5.
Grade the group, Josh, just as a total gross of polls.
I'm gonna go.
It's no summer, obviously.
Right.
How good can they really be?
I'm gonna A-, maybe B+.
That's good. All right, so we'll have that coming up today at about 12:45. Our keys and P's, keys to Nebraska and UCLA, and our picks for the weekend. I'm going to make you sound like the smartest guy in the room for your Husker watch party.
Am I not already?
I just want... that's an interesting question that you ask. I'm not saying that you're not already.
Okay.
But I'm going to make you sound even smarter than you are.
Great.
All right.
I love learning.
We'll do that here in just a couple minutes. First of all, on the other sports, aside from Husker football, Thursday Night Football is canceled. I just think we have to get rid of it entirely. I think we have to wipe the whole thing out. Oh, but Connor, I love football on third. Don't you want more football? All of these games on these other nights are seriously, I'm dead serious when I say this. They're seriously jeopardizing the integrity of the game. These games are so ugly. They're so bad. And they are we're watching them because they're on. And that's why the NFL will continue to put them in exclusive windows on Thursdays or Fridays or Saturdays or what's next? Tuesdays, probably. Tuesday Night Football on Peacock. It's coming. Don't worry. But with each time we put the games in different windows, they continue to get worse and worse and worse and worse because the rest is short and you're throwing off the schedules of the week. I want the football games to be good, Josh.
I'm going to make a confession.
The football
here.
games suck.
I don't think I've watched a single second of a Thursday night football game this season. The matchups have not been good. The play has been terrible.
The games have been awful.
Truly
awful.
I've consumed a bit on the radio. I tend to be here Thursday nights.
Last night we had a situation where the Texans were down, it was 14-10. Then they decided that, they had to kick a field goal. And then there was a personal foul penalty, like after the whistle or something like that, or there was a personal foul penalty on the play. They get a fresh look at a touchdown. And then they only to get stopped again in 3 downs, go to kick a field goal again and doink it. We had a guy drop the ball before he got to the end zone again last night. Oh, yeah. We had one of the best catches I've ever seen by Garrett Wilson.
He looked like the Jordan logo.
Which would have been offensive pass interference. If it was against Nebraska.
Definitely.
As John said on Twitter a couple minutes ago to at Happer show. But I don't know, man. It's just, I feel like we are genuinely affecting the integrity of the sport with these horrible, horrible games. And I feel like the teams know that. They go into this approaching it from, all right, we got to be totally bare bones.
Mm-hmm.
We're missing a couple games of rest here. Like, can we not screw this up? Let's throw passes 1 yard and
survive this game.
Survive, and that way we get our kind of mini bye, right? Because we get more rest afterwards.
Yeah.
And in a lot of cases, you get a bye actually directly afterwards. So I don't know. It sucked. And we were looking at that line all week with the Jets being favorites. And what do you know? The Jets won.
Proven to be correct. Las Vegas. Is there anything they don't know?
Classic.
Now, Bengals Ravens next week.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be a horrible game.
How many times can we hand it to Derrick Henry?
It's going to be awful. Yeah, at least they don't last very long. There's that. John emails in on the Equitable Bank inbox.
Hi, John.
Connor Happer, known hater of football, wants the games taken off television in favor of basketball games. Now, I also don't necessarily need that either. You know, early season basketball games don't quite get the job done either.
I would argue that
there's a reason why they're all playing UTRGV next week, fellas.
Thursday night football has been taken off television and put on Amazon Prime.
Right. It's on the internet now.
I'm not going into Amazon. I'm not rushing to Amazon Prime to watch television.
Oh, but they have a really quirky crew that all wear Halloween costumes. Have you seen this? Have you heard about it?
I have. I saw Ryan Fitzpatrick interview Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
Are you mad at me?
Those two do not they don't like each other.
No.
It was pretty clear.
Yeah.
But they made it work in an interview last night. Then they all stood there for a while wearing their Halloween costumes and did a post-game show. Andrew Whitworth didn't even have a hood on. It's crazy.
That's how you knew he was wearing a costume.
Yeah. All right. So I was going to be Andrew Whitworth for Halloween one year. It would have been really easy.
It would have been very comfortable.
Just wear a hoodie right underneath that suit jacket.
Yeah.
All right. So that's my take. Thursday Night Football canceled.
Good take.
Dead to me. So I'm going to make you sound like the smartest person in the room coming up in a second. But Josh, I have a stat for you before we get into today's proceedings.
A stat?
So Nebraska has a bit of a bowl drought. Ouch. Ouch, guys. Am I right?
I've heard. I've seen this. I've heard of this.
So that's Big Boy on Good Morning Football. Nice.
Talking Falcons?
Rappers with sports takes. Rappers, handshake beam sports. That just keeps on happening.
He lives at Truist Park during the summer.
Yeah, he's Atlanta through and through. Okay, so Nebraska, haven't been to a bowl game in a long time, have you? Is there something we could do to fix this?
Been a hot minute.
Is there something we could do to fix this? This is a stat with a stat inside of it. So Nebraska's had three different years now. This is the third different year since they've last gone to a bowl game where they've had a shot at bowl eligibility. Right? They went into the final game of the 2019 season with a chance at bowl eligibility, playing Iowa, losing. Sad.
Don't remind me.
Then they lost all 4 games with a chance at bowl eligibility last year, and now they're going to have another. Well, they've actually had 2 in a row already. They'd have 6 straight games this year with a chance to get bowl eligible. Nebraska's record with a chance to get bowl eligible since they went to their last bowl, Josh, 0-7. Nebraska's record in November since they last went, or I think maybe 0-6, 0-7. Since they last went to a bowl game in November. If I told you that Nebraska has played 23 games in the month of November since the end of the 2016 season, so starting in 2017, not including 2020. What would you say Nebraska's record in those games, in those 23 games in November is?
23 games.
23 games. Not including 2020.
10 and 13.
They were 10 and 13. They would have probably gone to multiple bowl games.
Oh, man.
No, Josh. 4 and 19.
4?
4. They have 4 wins in November in the last almost decade. 4.
Oh, wow.
It's bad.
This is not good, Connor.
They won in 2018 against Illinois and Michigan. Yeah, 2 of them were in the same year, 2018, Illinois and Michigan State. That was, of course, after starting 0-6. They won against Maryland in 2019. That was to get to the aforementioned doorstep of bowl eligibility that year. And then they won randomly to finish off the 22 season in Iowa. That's it. Those are their wins in the month of November. So you want to talk about curses. You want to talk about not winning games against ranked teams, not beating a ranked team in however long, and this and this and this. Nebraska has to reverse this trend. They have to win games in November. Their most important games. More likely when they're playing Iowa, likely when they're playing Wisconsin, likely when they're playing teams who are at the same competition level as they are. This year it so happens to be USC and UCLA on top of Wisconsin and Iowa. Nebraska's got to win at least 2 this month. They're 4 and 19
Great take.
in November since 2016. They need to be 2 and 2. They need to get half of the amount of wins they've had in November since 2017 this month.
Start now.
This is a great place to start.
Mm-hmm.
A great place to start.
Couple comments coming in the YouTube chat.
What's up, comments?
Jimmy. 23-13 Nebraska this weekend. Cheers, Husker Nation.
So he's calling for an old China buffet, our Grand China buffet.
SEAL Team Nick wondering, when's the Josh Compton rant?
Josh, can you confirm its existence?
I can confirm it exists. What are we thinking about? 1:30-ish on that?
I'd say be here by 1:15.
Okay.
We're going to give you some time to spread out.
Oh my.
I mean, Josh, this is
better
now,
be prepared.
Yeah, this is now like the focal point of our show, I think. This is like the thing that people want.
Nobody's ever asked us, hey, what time are you doing that thing I like?
I know. We got to give them, we got to make sure they're here. Jake wonders, where's the Grand China Buffet? Is that the one underneath Dodge Street? That's right.
That's right.
That's the new center of town.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be 72nd and Dodge. Now it's...
That intersection's a little crowded.
Yeah, it's hard to get there.
Yeah.
That Burger King closed, I think. I was driving by there the other day. I was like, that used to be a Burger King, didn't it?
Huh.
Sad. So, yep, Grand China Buffet. We'll see you there on Sunday morning.
Crab legs for everyone.
Woo, baby. Crab rangoons. Big old plate. Sometimes I go to the China Buffet and then I just get a big old plate of rice only. Just a pile of rice. The highest pile of rice that a person can make.
That's your right as an American at the Grand China Buffet.
That's exactly right. And then the second plate's a whole bunch of other stuff. But the big pile of rice plate is awesome at the Chinese buffet. Josh doesn't agree with me. But he's shaking his head.
It just sounds so good. I'm probably gonna have Chinese for dinner tonight.
Hey, Sam writes in on Twitter.
Hi, Sam.
I actually kind of wonder if Inside the NBA could find a home on Amazon because that Thursday night football postgame show goes on for a long. It does. It's so long. It's so long. Like I'll usually be doing work for the previous day that entire time, and I hardly ever make it to the end.
And they don't well, let's look ahead to the weekend that's coming and we'll preview the hot topics. They really focus on the game that just happened.
They're interviewing the guy that they get from the game for like 20 minutes.
Yes.
The entire time fans are chanting, by the way, Aaron Rodgers.
It's wild.
Yeah. Weird. But the football is bad. All right. We'll come back. I want to make you sound like the smartest person in the room. Why? How, Connor? Will he do this? Well, you'll notice on Saturday that UCLA has some players whose names you'll hear on the television screen from the television broadcasters, who are, by the way, Guy Haberman and Yogi Roth.
Guy and Yogi.
You'll notice, and they've done a couple UCLA games already this year, you'll notice that they have many names with many syllables. So we're going to go into this and we're going to teach you how to pronounce them.
Oh.
As brought to you by the people themselves.
The people.
Yes, the people who who have complicated names to say. That's what's going to make you sound like the smart. Oh yeah, I know about that guy. You know. And I'm not going to say it out loud because you'll get there. I want to make you sound like the smartest person in the room. Back after this on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back. Connor Happer, Josh Johnson with you on a Friday here on the Connor Happer Show, 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. Josh's hype speech is coming up during the show today. Our keys and our P's coming up in the 1 o'clock hour as well. Like I said, I want to make you sound like the smartest guy in the room. So you're going to go into these, we're going to prepare you like a broadcaster would for these games, right? You usually go in blind, right? I don't know what the other team's all about. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know who their best players are. I just know if they're good or bad.
I focus on us.
That's the story, right? And the story is UCLA hasn't been good this year. They're 2-5. But they will play football, just as Nebraska will play football. And they have players who have some complicated names. And we want to teach you how to say them. And these are, they have many complicated names on this roster, but we'll teach you some of the main ones that you need to know. So let's go to the wide receiver position first. UCLA's leading receiver, Josh. UCLA's leading receiver is the first guy that I have on that list. Would you have him say his name for us today on the show?
Moliki Matavao.
Moliki Matavao.
Moliki Matavao.
Thank you. Moliki Matavao. Moliki Matavao.
Very windy in Southern
He
California.
has 251 receiving yards so far this year. Another receiver that you might hear in this game. He's a little bit down the list, but he's kind of he'll catch some balls for UCLA. 12 catches for 121 yards this year. His first name is Titus. Titus, tell me your name.
Titus Mokiao Atimalala.
Titus Mokiao Atimalala.
Titus Mokiao Atimalala.
Got it? Got it?
Nailed it.
Say it. Say it. Say it, Josh.
I couldn't possibly.
What? Titus Mokiao Atimalala. Right?
Titus Mokiao Atimalala.
That's right. You got to say it over. This is how broadcasters, you go over and over and over again.
and
Just
over.
say it until it sounds like it's second nature.
Mhm.
Right? Let's go to the linebacker position on the defensive side of the ball. UCLA's leading tackler this year, his first name is Carlson. All right.
Okay.
His last name, well, let's say his full name here.
Carson Swessinger.
Swessinger. Yeah, it looks like
It
Schwessinger.
does look like Schwe.
Carson, say it again.
Carson Swessinger.
Swessinger.
It's a little tricky.
So you do it. You ask the players
Little
themselves. And by the way, love the schools that most all of them do now that have the players go through. They say all their names. They put them on the website. We can download them and we can play them right here on this show. We're a better informed public when we do this.
All right, it's going to get a little, I just want to tell you, produce this over the air. It's going to get a little slower
That's okay.
because I cannot find Kane.
Kane Medrano. I think that's how you would say it.
Mhm, mhm.
Well, maybe his name didn't make the pronunciation guide. That would be horrible if it didn't, because I'd like to know. Yeah, he doesn't look to be on here.
Okay,
Perfect.
That's why I couldn't find him.
How
Great.
about Femi? Femi is the third leading tackler on the UCLA defense.
He's going to make some plays.
He is going to make some plays, and his name is Femi, and his last name is Oladeo, I believe. But let's have him here. Let's have him say it.
Yeah, we'd love to have Femi say his name, and we'll find it and play it over the air for all of you today. Something to look forward to.
Oh, at a later time.
You tell me where it's at.
It is on page 2. It is the fourth one down on
There we
page
go.
2.
Oh, that's why I couldn't find it.
Mm-hmm.
We're just calling him Femi.
We are.
Okay.
All right.
Oluwafemi Oladejo.
Ladejo.
Dejo. I wouldn't have guessed.
Oladejo.
I wouldn't have guessed we hit that J so hard.
They'll call him Femi on the broadcast,
Yes.
but
Oluwafemi Oladejo.
all right.
Oluwafemi. You really say every letter in there, which is nice, actually.
Did you find Ale yet?
No, we're doing these one at a time.
Oh, we got caught up on something.
I got caught up on the guy that wasn't in there.
Yeah, that makes sense. I could have helped you. And
No, I'm
put
ready.
all
I'm
these
ready.
In here
I'm ready.
individually. Go ahead.
Ale Cajo.
Ale Cajo.
Ale Cajo.
Ale Cajo. That is a guy who's got 16 tackles this year. He's a linebacker. You might see him a little bit. Let's go to the defensive line, Josh. The defensive line has some guys. This is a pretty good defensive line. They kind of two-gap you a little bit. They're going to hold people up. They're going to allow their linebackers to make some plays. You could see by the fact that Carson Schwessinger has 72 tackles so far this year. So these defensive linemen do a good job, even though their statistics don't necessarily say so. But let's go to one of the big men up front for UCLA. Siale
Taupaki.
Siale Taupaki.
Topaki.
Got it? All right.
Commit it to memory.
All right. And then I mean, this is an all-name team, by the way.
Wow.
This is an all-name team.
Can't even read it well enough to control F and look for it.
It's hard.
It is.
Oh, you got an email, Josh?
Not on that page.
Now, I don't know how much you're going to see the next person, but he did have a nice game against Indiana way back, but he hasn't really done much in terms of the statistical category recently. But another defensive lineman for UCLA is
Sitiveni Havili Kaufusi.
I'm going to need to hear that one again. I don't know about the rest of y'all.
Please.
Sitiveni Havili Kaufusi.
All right.
Sitiveni Havili Kafusi.
Yeah.
Sitiveni Havili Kaufusi.
Sal writes in.
Hi, Sal.
Do you think the local UCLA radio station is doing the same thing for Nebraska's roster? It's Nayor, not Nayer. No, it's Nayer.
No, they get it.
On the pronunciation guide, it says Nayer.
They get it.
It said it's Nayer.
Once you have a team filled with a bunch of people of Samoan descent, then you're really not phased by.
Seriously, no, you're right.
Yeah,
you're definitely right about that.
Like we play Iowa Western plays Snow a lot, and that's a team filled with a bunch of people of Samoan descent, and they're the only school that doesn't ask us for help pronouncing our players' names.
Right? No, you're good. You've been through the battles.
Yeah.
You've been tested, and you have come out on the other side, and you just know how to say everything by that. As long as you have an appropriate pronunciation guide or a lovely guide like UCLA puts out, I think Nebraska does.
Now, if we could have
same thing as well.
If we could have a little fun with this,
let's.
Do you think our friend who is in the booth will resort to calling these players by their number tomorrow?
Our friend,
our close personal friend,
Guy Haberman,
who used to be in this room.
Dump that.
I didn't say his name.
Okay,
I would never.
All right. Oh no, he's on top of it.
Such a pro. Pro's pro.
Oh no, he's on top.
Grinding tape.
I mean, they got a lot more they're going to hear on. So I noticed this while I was watching some of their games throughout the week, and they do have Guy and Yogi a lot, and those guys nailed it. Those like second nature. You know, they caught a Titus Mokiao Atamalala caught a long like bubble screen against Rutgers, and he was just like, "Hey, he's going to toss it out to Titus Mokiao Atamalala," and he, I'm like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" And then I got into the pronunciation guide a little bit. Another interesting name, not necessarily a name that is tough to pronounce, but a name that you have heard before because I feel like he's played at now every Big Ten school. Jalen Berger is their off-pace back, their second back. Started at Wisconsin, right? He was supposed to be the next like Jonathan Taylor. And it just didn't work for him there. 1 year gone. Ended up at Michigan State. And now has ended up at UCLA. He's got 3 out of the 18 Big Ten schools. Where will he be next year?
Crossing them off the list one by one.
He's a pretty highly recruited guy. So he'll give UCLA some things in the running game as well. The running game, which they don't do a lot of. We'll talk about that as we go on throughout the show. Sam writes in.
Hi, Sam.
Don't think UCLA has been mentioned in LA sports talk since Aikman was under center. Yeah. Also, Joel writes in, we need UCLA on the big noon before the end of the season. Oh, boy.
Oh
boy.
That would be fun.
Titus Mokiao Atamalala.
Get Titus a macchiato.
Ha ha! Yeah. I don't know if that'd be good, bad, somewhere in between. But there you go. Go back to this segment on Saturday. You're the smartest guy in the room. We'll come back with Bryan Munson of HuskerOnline.com. All of a sudden, it has turned into quite the recruiting weekend for Nebraska football.
Oh?
Yes.
I thought recruiting was dead.
It's alive.
Okay.
Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
Bryan Munson.
Hey, long call. Comfy left zoom buster. 63 bang. Z Maui. Alert. Paradise Z Burger Y Wrap on one.
Husker Online on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Who said recruiting was dead? A liar. That's who. A liar. Bryan Munson joins us now on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline, and he can confirm, I believe, that recruiting is still very much alive. Hello, Munson.
Very much a pulse to be found.
It's happening.
We're found. Respiration is normal. Yeah, no, I mean, this is one of the last two home games. This is one of the last two opportunities for Nebraska to get some of the guys in, connect with them. There's several 2026 guys I'm sure that we're going to get to here shortly that have not made it to campus yet. Guys that we would consider to be top targets that have not gotten on campus, before this weekend, and Nebraska needs to get that going now because that's the only way you kind of bridge momentum into your junior days in January, February, and into your spring games and practice.
Yeah, you're setting up, you're setting things up, or you're setting yourself up to be in good position, I suppose, in 2026 and beyond. And we've talked about that plenty, and we will continue to. But let's start with the task at hand for 2025, finishing out the class or putting the finishing details on it. Munson, there's been kind of some movement this week. I know Steve Wiltfong dropped in with an interesting nugget about Nebraska's class and an already committed person to it, and then sort of what that means for the rest of the of this class as Nebraska finishes it out.
No doubt. I mean, and Steve, obviously he's got tremendous sources. So what he's trying to sell out there, he's not selling clicks. He's giving you the best information possible. So Chase Lofton, 4 or 5 months, 6 month, commitment to Florida State, Omaha South, or Millard South, tight end, going to be in Lincoln this weekend. And this is huge because I've been trying to kind of tell people, that the stats aren't there for Bear Tenney because as the tight end in the class, Nebraska doesn't see him as being a tremendous pass catching guy, even though that's a guy that's, hit over 20 miles an hour on a treadmill. They see him as an animal on the edge that can set the edge and be that kind of extra offensive tackle when it comes to blocking. That's going to really be music to a lot of people's ears, but you're still looking then for another guy that can kind of get into the room and be a pass catcher, somebody else that still has, tremendous route running ability, speed, not really a true tight, more of a flex guy, looks more like Carter Nelson than he does Bear Tenney. And that's what you really want. I mean, because if you read Tunnel Talk this morning, you saw how fast Carter Nelson is running. There's probably an argument that can be made that he's really truly more of an X than he'll ever be kind of a hybrid Y. And I think though that from a flex Y perspective, that's where Chase Lofton can really make people regret having that matchup with him. So he's a critical piece. And obviously, I think it comes back to how important in-state recruits are for Matt Rule. Since the 2022 class, Nebraska's done a really, really good job in trying to make sure they lock down everyone that they can. And I think that, this would secure Nebraska getting the top 6 players in the state after you and I were talking, back in June, July, missing on Lofton, possibly not getting Christian Jones, losing the top 2 players in the state. Now all of a sudden you get Jones back in September, and now you got a chance to bring the number 2 guy back to the state. It's huge. And this is a big thing, but I think this is a big weekend. You get the 2025 piece, and then the 2026 pieces just add to the importance of this weekend.
Hey, how open is the door to? I mean, we've talked about Dawson Merritt plenty, but he's committed to another place, and Chase Lofton obviously visiting this weekend. He's currently committed to another place as well. But how open is the door to those guys, and how much does Nebraska need to sort of shuffle around with the numbers that they already have? And then the numbers discussion is a whole different thing because, there's going to be some hard numbers that are going to go into place next year in terms of how many you could have on your roster. How much shuffling does Nebraska need to do in the final month? We're only a month away at this point from signing day. I don't know if people remember this, but the signing day got moved up this year. So we're only a month away. I guess how much movement does there need to be in the next 30 plus days?
Yeah, certainly some. I think Nebraska is still of the mindset of if they are going to get a player that can help them out, that they're going to be interested in grabbing that player this fall. And I know that obviously that's been tapering off. It's been tapering off quite a bit. I think that there's some guys that they clearly are walking away from, some guys that possibly that in other years, before the 105 roster, before some of this other stuff that's kind of been handed down, that they would have been interested in doing, and now all of a sudden you got this hard cap that's potentially going to be sitting over the top of you. I think it's absolutely impacted the way that they have gone about recruiting it. But with a guy like Lofton, I think that you're still seeing a guy that brings a lot of value in the short term and the long term. And I think Nebraska actually, this class could potentially get up to that 23, 24 a number of commitments. I mean, when we start talking about the Dawson Merritt possibilities, I think there's some other guys out there like Jordan Allen. We talked about, Martellus Carter a little bit, and he couldn't get in this weekend, but it sounds like he still wants to get in. He's still interested in seeing Nebraska. That's a 4-star safety. I think that there's some other guys out there that Nebraska has been casually working that have not really gotten in yet, and that Nebraska was still, Michael Terry. Let's just go ahead and break that one open too. He's not done, he's not done with his recruiting process yet. He's not called out the shot to say he's going to Texas, even after all the experts said in August, this one's coming to a quick end. Here we are, November 1st. He hasn't done anything about it yet. There's got to be a big reason why, and I think it's because of Matt Rule in Nebraska.
Yeah. Bryan Munson of Husker Online is with us. Okay. The big visitors this week and the headliners really come from I guess aside from Lofton, really come from the 2026 class. I mean, running back is a position that we have talked about plenty on the show. Nebraska's had cracks at some big guys, and I don't know, they haven't gone empty-handed, but it's maybe left a little bit to be desired. Brian Bonner, does he headline the list of this weekend for the 26 visitors?
He's one of 2 or 3 guys that I would consider to be the headliner. And I think the reason also why it's such a big deal is that Nebraska had him in town earlier this summer. So it's not lip service here, that where he's kind of coming in. He has a legitimate interest in coming back to Nebraska. And I think people they see California associated, with where he's from, and they go, gosh, Matt Rule and his staff really haven't been recruiting, California too well. And TJ Lateef, and maybe, but things are kind of picking up slowly with that 2026 group. Bonner's right at the top of the list. I love Titan Davis. I love Titan Davis from St. Louis, but then again, you're talking to a defensive lineman, so I'm always going to go ahead and kind of side that way. I think Titan Davis is got to be at the top of Nebraska's list when it comes to defensive linemen that are out there. You can make some other arguments. Claude Mpuma is a very interesting offensive tackle, great size, 6'8", 260 guy from Chicago. Picked up an offer before he even visited. He was supposed to come in for Rutgers, couldn't make it in. Back here this weekend, so it'd be interesting to hear what he has to say. Mason James, 4-star wide receiver from Norman, Oklahoma. I think it's going to be tough to get him out of state. But then, another guy that's kind of low key here, Hunter Higgins out of Wichita, Kansas. Put in a prediction for him earlier this week. Me and Sean Callahan both did. I think we feel really good about that one. Then there's some nice 2026 offensive tackles, Jarvis Strickland and Mitchell Smith and Brady Wilmus. Great group across the board. And then you get Dayton Raiola there too. You're going to have a chance to have Raiola there in this group that's there this weekend, working the crowd, talking to them, building some chemistry, getting the communication going. Then you start talking about getting back again, in the spring. And that's going to be critical for Nebraska to kind of have going. And then the 2027 guys too. I mean, you have the number one player in the state in the 2027 class, showing up, Ethan Feaster, from DeSoto. And obviously Nebraska's establishing a nice little connection there, obviously through Buford, and Coach McGuire's from that area down there with Cedar Hill, south of Dallas. So good 2027 group coming in, some kids coming in from Mississippi. That's kind of unusual, but a great sign for what you've got, like Coach Mosey doing within Mississippi and Georgia? Because like KJ Green is coming in too from Georgia. I think that they're really putting together a fantastic group to come in this weekend.
Is it just generally right now? Obviously for Nebraska, we've already outlined some people where this could be the case. Is it just? Do we need to be on the watch for flips from just like everybody right now? Is any commitment safe anywhere?
I think that there's obviously there are safer ones than others, but I think that you're right. I mean, flipping season I don't think it was really ever necessarily a thing before, except for maybe like the week leading up to like National Signing Day, right? Where we would, this guy's not communicating well with Nebraska and didn't take an in-home visit with the staff and just hosted, Saban or whomever, before. Those kinds of stories happened, 5-7 years ago. Now you've got classes that are 95% of the way done, by the time the second week in July rolls around. You put it now, everybody basically into this kind of inactive kind of thing, but that's where I think persistence pays off.
Yeah.
And I think the staffs that really have locked into a guy, because there's some quarterbacks that are still taking visits. There's the Missouri commitment that's going to go visit Penn State this weekend. The Julian Lewis kid that's been flirting with Colorado through the entire time. It's really interesting to see how kind of things have been shaking out now into the last part of October through the month of November, where things are ramping up to kind of get that final finishing touch on the class. And that's where this flipping season is coming from. Those guys now that have been kind of off the radar, all of a sudden are smack dab on it again.
2 more home games left for Nebraska. How much? I mean, this is the time of year as well where the Sundays, get relatively busy. You want to catch up with all the recruits. Like how much movement could we see in the next 2 home games for Nebraska, or just in the next month, which we've already kind of talked about?
It's interesting, man, because from what I keep hearing, the number for this class, you're sitting at 20 or 21. And I think that the number that I think Nebraska could potentially expand the class to be is in that 24 range. So I think that there's still some folks out there that Nebraska feels like they're in a good situation to kind of get. That's where maybe the talk of Merritt and Carter and Terry and Lofton obviously figures into that as well. And then it'll be very interesting to kind of see like what else potentially could happen. I mean, we didn't even mention that there's a junior college offensive tackle that's going to be in town this weekend, Preston Hawkins from North Carolina. And he's obviously ramping up, when it comes to the people that are looking at him. Virginia Tech is finally nibbling on him a little bit. So he's going to be, and we haven't talked about junior college guys at all.
I know.
So it's very interesting to see how things have kind of shifted away from that, and where we're kind of at to where we're, then the portal transfer stuff will start coming in too in that November, December timeline too. So it's going to get wild. This is going to be the next 3 months. I feel like it's been nothing a lot for you to kind of keep recycling the same names over and over and over again.
I know.
Now we got Lofton. Now we got Merritt and Terry and a junior college offensive tackle. And then the portal guys are going to start kicking up too, man. We're going to be really busy all the way through the month of January.
All right, Munson. Well, we appreciate it. Thanks for your hard work putting all this stuff together as always, and look forward to the coverage from the weekend.
Yep, we'll talk to you next week, brother.
That's Bryan Munson of HuskerOnline.com. So just want to put another, speaking of names, we were talking about names earlier.
Love names.
We
just did a whole segment about names.
Exactly.
Before Munson.
Well, there are some names that are just better than others.
Yeah, that's right.
So he mentioned a name that might have gone in one ear and out the other during that. And that would be 2027 wide receiver Ethan Feaster, who is on campus this weekend.
That's a name we need to have.
Oh, Josh, you don't know the half of it yet.
Oh, okay. Is he good at football?
Well,
because the name is perfect for a guy who might end up in the end zone at the end of a play.
He's
the Feaster's feasting.
Let's start there.
Okay.
He is the number 1 receiver in the country.
Like the whole country
for the 2027 class.
Okay, that's good.
According to On3, I'm going to try and make sure he is the number 2 receiver according to 24/7 Sports. He's the number 1 wide receiver on the 24/7 Sports composite, the number 4 rated recruit overall in the 2027 class. So this is still a little bit down the line. He's just a sophomore. His name is Ethan Feaster, but he has a nickname, Josh.
Oh, Feaster isn't the nickname.
Oh no, Feaster is his name.
Okay.
Ethan Feaster is his name.
Feels like we don't really need to dress that up much, but please.
His teammates and his friends call him Booby.
That's not necessary. His name is Feaster. It's right there.
Booby Feaster.
I love Booby Miles.
I like Booby Feaster better.
Booby Feaster.
Booby Feaster. I'm dead serious. You got Booby Feaster coming in this weekend. Watch out.
He's going to be doing NIL deals for all sorts of
a lot of things.
Houses of ill repute.
A lot of things. Hey, you need that guy because he's a talented player, obviously.
Go get me Booby Feaster.
I mean, it's a couple years down the line, obviously, but yeah, please bring me Booby Feaster.
Gosh, and
bring me Booby Feaster.
It works for chants too, like Booby Feaster.
Is that
Booby Feaster?
Okay, there you go.
I'm white. It takes me a couple times.
Yeah,
to
you gotta
get
get
the
that rhythm
right,
going.
you know.
Brandon writes in on
Hi, Brandon.
Twitter. Feaster. I could see Husker fans saying it's feast or famine with this guy.
Definitely.
That one caught my eye.
There's a story there. I'd like. So, Booby?
Booby Feaster. Booby's a great nickname.
Yeah.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Booby Miles, like you said, incredible. Friday Night Lights, one of the greatest sports movies of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care about the TV show. Booby Miles isn't even on there. Right?
No, he's not.
Yeah, exactly. So, but now let me do you one better. It's Booby Feaster.
Booby Feaster.
This is many times as we can say it. That's probably the best.
That's his name.
That's his name. That's his name.
We can't get in trouble.
Oh, good one. Alex, will Booby Feaster be the new lyrics to the Bo Pelini? The new Bo, remember? Bo Pelini. Oh, Pelini.
Booby Feaster.
And Carl! Sounds like a good idea to me.
Make it happen.
All right, we are back with Bryan Christopherson. Let's talk about the football game at hand. Josh, not the names, but the actual, like, how it's going to go here.
The X's, the O's.
Is UCLA good? Have we not been making enough out of Nebraska's competition this week?
Many are saying UCLA is playing so much better as of late.
And who is the real Nebraska? We'll ask those questions to Bryan Christopherson coming back on the Connor Happer Show on Omaha's 1620 The Zone.
Hey, Brian.
Bryan Christopherson,
I gotta take this. It's Hap.
Be right, be Rooney. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry.
Bryan Christopherson, Husker 24/7 on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Bryan Christopherson marked himself safe from the great cheese throwing incident in Columbus, Ohio last Saturday, and he's back in Lincoln to cover Nebraska and UCLA tomorrow. And he joins us now on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. Hello, Bryan.
Yeah, I'm safe. How are you?
Good. I'm glad. I've been asking all of our media guests this week, did we make it out without a cheese cup hitting you? And it sounds like yes.
Yeah, I did fine. I spilled cheese on my shirt throughout the week at various times,
Yeah,
but I
okay.
avoided the one you're talking about.
That's different. Yeah. You just don't want to get hit by a stray cheese. If it's your cheese,
No,
that's fine.
Yeah, you don't want cheese from another direction coming at you. Brunt's, I think, almost got it from what I gathered, but I was not standing near Brunt's. Brunt's the taller target than I, though.
Yeah, it sounds like Brunt's was maybe the closest to getting the cheese, which, I'm just glad everybody's safe. That's all. BC, how have you felt like Nebraska? It's been another sort of interesting week, and I think, there's this sense from Nebraska's players and coaches of like, okay, this is it. We were where we were last week, and we are now that for the rest of the year. Like, do you believe them, and how do you feel like they've sort of handled where it's not success in the sense that they won, but success in the sense that they played pretty well last week?
Yeah, I just think there's an understanding that whatever you think you gained from last week's performance, you can give back right away by not doubling down on it. So I think that's been reinforced. It seemed like that was sort of the message even in the post-game locker room, and it's carried into the week from the interviews we've done. And, I mean, that's the way you have to look at it. Like, close losses can be useful to a team if you take what got you there and you stack on top of that. But if you go, lay a dud tomorrow, it's just a loss then, and it's forgotten about, and it didn't have the value you thought it did. So, very critical game for this program, obviously. I've said it's like the ultimate, it's a mood ring game, I mean, this is you got 2 weeks to sit on it, and I think it has the opportunity, honestly, to be a cathartic moment sort of for the program to get a sixth win in their backyard in front of their fans to once and for all do away with that drought that goes back 8 years. And this is a golden opportunity to do that. On the other hand, they had 4 of them last year to do that too. So you got to go just handle the details in a game like this and finish. I mean, that's the thing I would really stress. There's these 2 to 3 or 4 plays that are going to pop up where you have an opening, you have a guy free to make that throw or make that block, and it's got to happen in November. Those are the plays that have sort of eluded them, I think, the last few weeks.
Yeah, it's amazing. I've been thinking about that idea all week, BC, like just the wall that stands in between Nebraska and bowl eligibility and how many times they've come up short, including, like you said, 4 last year, all throughout the month of November. But at the same time, I think about it, and maybe this is revisionist history, I don't know. I think about those games and I think, well, I don't know that the bowl eligibility thing was such a wall standing in the way that had an effect on Nebraska and why they lost those games the way that they did. But at the same time, there is some sort of barrier there for this program, and it does feel like if they win tomorrow, that will be a little bit of weight off of the shoulders. Do you agree?
Yeah, it would be. I don't think the guys are like thinking about it at like lunch on Tuesday or anything like that. Right. But it is one of those things that you've got to cross off the list. It has to stop being a TV graphic. I like what Dylan Raiola said this week, where it's not like 6 is the minimum too. It sometimes there's this discussion too. It's like, get the 6. It's like, yeah, that'd be nice. And then let's go to 7 or 8, that'd be even better. But first things first, this is an opportunity to do that against the team you're favored against. And if they play the kind of defense they did a week ago, I think they'll get the job done if they bring that sort of mentality on that side of the ball. On the other end of things, you've got an offense. Nebraska is 107th in the country in red zone touchdown percentage. That's where I go back to finishing. The John Hull story is great, but let's give him the day off. Saturday, have it be a day where he only kicks once or something like that, and you finish some drives and you put it in the end zone. Or if that pass is there to be made, Ryla hits Banks and he walks in. That sort of stuff, I think they need to have happen to turn the corner. There have been those plays that have been right in front of them, those one or two plays that can separate yourself, and they've got to find them now to make this a different November than the last one.
From a matchup perspective, can this be the game where the offense finds themselves a little bit in the pass game, given what UCLA has lacked on that side of their defense so far? Pretty good in the run game, but not so good in the against the pass.
Yeah, I kind of emphasize that in one of our notes. I mean, they're 118th in pass defense. They're 86th if you give them are more charitable and you go by yards per attempt. Nonetheless, that's where the leaks are. That's where there's openings in their defense. I do think they have a pretty solid defensive line and some, good backers. But I'd like to see Nebraska attack downfield a little bit more. The pass interference, penalties have been useful to this team, but you gotta attack and put those in play to be called, with guys like Banks in there. And this is the sort of game where I'm kind of hoping like Jalen Lloyd pops up for that, 54-yard play that just hasn't been there yet. He's had a nice catch like in 6 of the 8 games, but a guy like him having 2 or 3 explosive plays and one of them's a house call. That's what this offense has been missing. They've had to do everything with these 11 and 12 play drives. And if you do it that way, eventually you're going to trip on your own feet at some point or have a false start. And so I really think they need to take themselves off the hook a little bit and find that explosion in the pass game where they do hit a big one or two. And that could ease up the run game too. They did find some staples, I think, running the ball in that third quarter against Ohio State that you can transfer forward and hope it work. I mean, they got Dowdell running downhill in that possession, and they're going with 3 wide receivers and really attacking Ohio State up the middle and having some success. So let's see if they can pick up off that and get some things done in the run game too.
DC, I don't know if you know this off the top of your head. What is Nebraska's longest touchdown pass of the season? Was it in that first game? Was it the one down the sideline to Nair?
I would think so. That's the one that comes to mind. Yeah.
Gosh.
That like 58 or so.
Yeah.
Something like that. But yeah, I don't recall one being longer. And, if it's 45, 50, whatever, I'm just saying find that play where it just kind of takes the lid off. And I think guys would exhale a little bit. It gives the defense a lot to chew on over there on the sideline when that happens. And then you can attack them in different ways. So that's a big part of it. And then, they're going to continue to try to get bubble screens and stuff like that going, I think, whether people like it or not. So you just have to do it better. You have to get those blocks. You have to, even if it's 4 or 5 yards, I said this last week, but they've got to be 4 or 5 yard plays. If that's the maximum, at least get the maximum out of them and not have them be no gains or -2 or whatever. So everybody's got to really have that focus on their 111 and get it done.
Hey, defensively, Nebraska goes into this game again with some different faces in the defensive secondary. UCLA, they've sort of abandoned the run at times this year. We know that they're going to try to throw the ball around a little bit, at least if Nebraska doesn't allow them to get anything going on the ground. What do you think that matchup looks like? Is this another good opportunity for some new faces in the secondary to I mean, they're going to get challenged in this game a little bit.
Yeah, you want to see Sierra Wright continue to play well, and it's going to be a big game for a guy like Hartzog and Buford and those guys who are old heads, I guess too. They've been around for a few years, but they've sort of have to fill in, and they've been moving them around in different spots. Hartzog was playing more corner last week, and Buford got, I think, a little more action at safety, but they just need to be dependable. And I just want to see Nebraska win more of those 50-50 balls, and there's been some games where they've been on the wrong end where it feels like just too high of a percentage have gone the other way. And so that's going to be a big deal. And then, if MJ Sherman and Jamari Butler pick up where they left off and have that type of tenacity and play that way, I think that's a big deal too. That was a different Jamari Butler. And MJ Sherman is having a really good season, but that was the best game I ever saw him play as a Husker. And sometimes guys, when they're in the end of their career, that last month, we've seen it before, they just have it goes to another level. And I'm wondering if MJ Sherman's going to have some of that down the stretch. So I think he's a key guy to watch tomorrow.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, Brian, we will let you go. Always appreciate you taking the time, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yep, sounds good. Thank you.
Bryan Christopherson, Husker 247. So a couple things. First of all, I think he's absolutely right about the last. I talk. We talk to athletes all the time, and like they're going through a season, and there always seems to be this realization, but not until the end is in sight, that this is it. Like, I've really enjoyed doing this, especially with football players. Like, you don't get that many games, You're lucky to get, 20, 30 starts in your career, something like that. You start a couple of years and that's it. And that doesn't really come into focus until November, right? Until there's one or two home games left and you're like, whoa, what happened? I just blinked and all of a sudden I'm leaving now. What's going on? I think it's a big deal. And there's a lot of guys like that on this defense. So maybe you get some more from those guys.
It's always a very sudden realization, like, this thing's almost over.
Yeah, it really is. And then he mentioned Hartzog. Rule said yesterday he's out, so it'll be some new guys. I continue to wonder how much you will see. Just some new. Look, there's 4 games left in the season. You've been able to kind of manage things from a redshirt, and then I think you also have some decisions to make with some injuries that you've had at those positions. We don't know. It doesn't look like Tommy Hill's going to play on Saturday either. So, do you have redshirt or no redshirt decisions to be making? And can you make it without some of the guys that you're trying to redshirt, or do you need to play them here down the stretch? And then is it worth it for those guys to play 6 or 7 plays, and burn a year of their eligibility? So there's a lot on the table. There's a lot to manage in the final month of the season, I think, for Nebraska.
A lot going on.
There's a lot going on, indeed. Jeff writes in, he says, especially those guys who came back an extra year, this is the game for them to change the program. Is this a game for them to change the program?
Wow.
I would say that there is and I'm not trying to make this like an out or an excuse or something like that. I'm actually saying it the opposite way. Like, there is pressure on Nebraska to, it feels like now is the time, right? Now is the point of no return. Now is the point of we don't look back. There's no more. I think the thought process in there, and maybe this is a low bar, is like no more Indiana games. Those are now out of our. It's like when you're a golfer and you're like, you get a couple rounds in the 80s, and you're like, I think I left the hundreds behind. Like, I might have a bad day, but it's not going to be more than 100 today.
Yeah.
Ever. I'm not going to shoot. I'm not capable of shooting over 100 ever again. That's a dangerous thing to say, but I think that's what Nebraska's trying to convince us of. Like, I'm not capable of shooting 110 anymore. I can't do that. And so this would be a game where you could prove that a little bit. Like, is your handicap, 16 or is it 8? What is it? So I think this is a big game for that. It might tell you the truth about him a little bit. We'll see. And there might be some nervous moments on Saturday. I think there will be.
We've been at this exact spot before. The the big loss, the rebound, the moral victory, quote unquote, and we've always tried to say, "Oh no, all that's behind us, all that's in the past. Now we just win games."
Yep. All right, so we'll talk about that more with our dear friend Sipple coming up at the bottom of the noon hour. We'll have our history lesson coming up in about 15 minutes here. Our top 5 poll questions of the month of October. It's November. Happy November to you all.
Happy November to you and yours.
P's and P's. We're like set basically for the rest of the show. We're rocking and rolling on a Friday. The odd news is next on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. But a reminder first to get in your picks for 4-quarter pick'em this week. At least do so before the games start. Week 8 of 25K 4-quarter pick'em is open. You can get a chance at the prize. No matter how late you're in, you still have a chance to do so. You're just going to have to win all of your picks. That would be my advice to you all. And if you do so, you're going to have a really good crack at that $2,500 for the week. Play now, 1620thezone.com.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
Josh, people forget that the Swedish rock band Ghost is coming to Omaha.
You'll want to plan this one.
You do.
You got time.
You got to get out in front of this one.
They're very popular.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct still has a pair of tickets, so listen to them this afternoon in order to potentially get your hands on those sweet, sweet VHS tapes. 1620thezone.com. You can find more information. All right, Josh, time for the odd news. What do we got?
We love on the Connor Happer show.
Some people do. Some people say, I don't know that that's love. That looks like fake news to me.
No.
That's you, Josh.
Oh, okay. Well, I believe in this relationship.
How many people dressed up as Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift last night?
Are we doing that still?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Okay. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. I didn't see any. But I don't go out. I shut the lights off at 7:30 last night.
Hell yes.
I go out. We just put the baby to bed.
The joys of having an infant.
It's great.
Newborn,
I would have loved to do it anyway.
Yeah. Now you have this excuse. Oh, the baby's sleeping. I'm sorry. Don't you dare ring my doorbell.
I watched the entire stupid Thursday night game uninterrupted.
Ugh, gross. Joe Exotic is getting married.
Oh, well, congratulations to Joe Exotic.
The Tiger King star got engaged while incarcerated.
Now, he's been married now a few times.
Quite a few.
Okay.
He's the Liz Taylor of our era. In so many ways. He announced the news on social media, introducing the man he is set to marry with a photo. Meet Jorge Marquez. He is 33. The Tiger King wrote, "He is so amazing and is from Mexico."
That is how you describe him?
That's what he said.
He is so amazing and from Mexico?
And is from Mexico. His statement
That
continued.
is incredible.
Now, the quest of getting married in prison and getting him asylum, or we will be leaving America when we both get out. Either way, I wish I would have met him a long time ago.
Wow. That gives you something to look forward to, I guess.
That's right. The Connor, very astute observation, because the article says, this isn't the Oklahoma zookeeper's first marriage. Just 2 months before marrying ex-husband Dylan Passage, who was also on the Netflix hit.
Yeah, and he died or something?
No, the other one, Tiger King was married to Travis Maldonado.
Oh, that guy.
Who accidentally died. Spoiler alerts for Tiger King.
Yeah, sorry.
If you're still working through it.
Yeah.
Him and the Dylan Passage split up after 3 years of marriage in the year of our Lord 2021.
3 years. So they had a full-blown marriage.
They did.
And all of this has happened since the Tiger King era.
Joe Exotic is currently serving a 21-year prison sentence.
Yeah.
All because of that B. Carol Baskin.
So how many more marriages will he have before he gets out? That's the question.
I'm betting
under 2.5.
I'll go the under, but like
that's good.
He
number,
will
though?
get married again in prison.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. I still like the description of the guy. What is it? He's great and from Mexico.
He is so amazing and is from Mexico.
As if those are two separate issues.
God. He's amazing. And he's from Mexico.
Like it's an added bonus.
Just added value. I'm Joe Exotic. He's exotic because he's from Mexico.
There you go.
Yeah. Fits. TikTok has gone viral, Connor. Perhaps you've seen this one and can fill us in.
All right.
Are Q-tips flimsier now?
Never seen that.
Okay. A recent TikToker, Chris Moranic, noticed something was amiss when he opened a new pack of 625 cotton swabs on Saturday, and he posted his findings on TikTok. The video now has over 105,000 views and counting. Meanwhile, we're giving you informative entertainment day in, day out, and would literally kill a man for 105,000 views on a video.
I stand by you on that one, Josh.
Thank you. They don't make them like they used to, Chris wrote in the caption of the video. He compares 2 625 count cartons of Q-tips. One package commemorates the brand's 100th anniversary that he bought at some point in 2023. The other carton he bought just at the store this week.
I don't know what it is about YouTube, though, Josh. I mean, you could do anything on that thing, and how many people are there in the world? How many people are watching so many YouTube videos every day?
Mm-hmm.
How many YouTube videos can you watch?
I have heard multiple times from multiple people in the different circles I hang out with that like you can easily get 25,000 views on a TikTok. Like that's not difficult.
Not a challenge at all.
Yeah.
Not a challenge at all.
Yeah.
It just has to be the right thing.
Mm-hmm. Is our building on fire, by the way? My goodness, what is going on?
I'll smell that. Smells like normal to me.
He points out that the older swabs, the swab doesn't bend. It doesn't have as much give as the new swab, which is rather flimsy, he says. And many people agree with this man.
So you want, I mean, let's go back to golf. Do you want the flex shaft or do you want a stiff shaft?
Now, Q-Tip did not. Q-Tip is a brand. They did not.
If you're using a
Q-Tip,
Q-Tip, do you want the shaft to be stiff or do you want it to be flimsy? And flimsy is a bad word. Let's just say flexible.
Yeah. I think I want the stiff shaft.
Yeah. Yes.
But
I agree.
I bet you science is going to tell me that,
And if you're
I actually wanted to have a little give.
If you're a good golfer and you got good swing speed, then you want that stiff shaft.
Now, I'm not swinging my Q-tip in my ear.
No.
I guess I'm just going in a tiny. I'm going in a tiny.
But
circle.
do you Q-tip hard? Do you
probably?
Are you an aggressive Q-tipper?
Are you that's a good poll question. Are you an aggressive Q-tip?
I got a confession for you, Josh.
Uh-huh.
I haven't used a Q-tip in years.
Really?
My wax situation is out of control.
Oh,
yeah.
My wax situation is out of control, so I have to Q-tip.
They gave me an IFB at this basketball game for last weekend, and I felt bad. I felt horrible. I have to keep this,
allow me to wipe this off.
Gino, great Mecca employee, he's in charge of everything down there. He knows where the bodies are buried. Gino's like, hey, do you like this new IFB? I got it. It cost, blank this much. I was like, yeah, but I feel really bad because I got earwax all over it.
Now,
it's disgusting.
Many people are probably shouting at their radios right now. The same thing that Clarence is commenting on YouTube.
What's he saying?
You do know it says on the box of Q-Tip
on the box
not to use it in your ear.
Really?
Yes, I know that, and I don't care.
Yeah.
What the hell else am I using those things for?
What are you supposed to do? Just do it on the tracks of your ear? That's ridiculous.
No.
How are you going to clean out your ears?
Yeah.
I never use Q-tips anyway, but if I did, it would be ripping in my ear.
And let me go so far as to say that my ears are my livelihood. I need my ears. Yeah. And I still jam that thing in there and dig around.
Oh, yeah. So you're an aggressive Q-tipper.
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
I would like to read a customer review on the Walmart website from a reviewer who, with the username Q-tipper.
Okay.
Like many other unhappy customers, I'm disappointed with the recent change to Q-tips. The stick is very flimsy and frustrating to use. Huge letdown, huge in all caps.
I love people who leave reviews on stuff.
Right.
It's amazing. There's quite the community out there.
Incredible. Now, we end with the saga of Tucker Carlson.
Oh, boy. Really? We're going there.
I'm going to... Not there.
Where are we going?
He said some things, some apolitical things, and I'm going to try.
Oh, okay.
Lord help me, I'm going to try to
All
keep it apolitical.
Here we go.
Tucker Carlson is telling a ghost story for Halloween this year. He claims a demon attacked him while he slept in bed and left visible marks on his body. The television personality appeared in the new documentary, Christianities? That's what it's titled. Christianities? ?
Yeah.
Where he revealed he'd once woken up to find huge claw marks on his sides and shoulders, ones that did not match his own hands. Carlson says Satan's servant didn't wake his wife or dogs, who Tucker says are notoriously light sleepers, but he had to go to the bathroom to see the damage the supposed demon had done. When he flicked on the bathroom light, Carlson says he saw 4 claw marks on each side of his rib cage and more on the shoulder that were bleeding profusely, markings he claims haven't gone away 18 months later. The next morning, Tucker says he thought the attack had all been a dream, until he saw his blood-soaked bed sheets. Carlson says the incident made him explore his faith, read the Bible to figure out what happened. Though he says he still doesn't know what happened.
That would make me explore my faith as well.
Now,
I'm trying to figure out who injured my back. Or is it just me becoming old?
Bit of context here. Tucker Carlson also admits he was sleeping with 4 dogs in his bed. So
interesting.
The theory online is that
his dogs tried to kill him.
One of those dogs might have done it.
And he didn't awaken for any of these?
I guess not.
Tucker.
It's
been a week for Tucker.
It has. He just keeps saying things.
All right, Josh, thanks.
Thanks, Connor.
That's definitely the odd news. We are back with the noon hour, a history lesson, and maybe, if I can get him out of his cave, an appearance from 1940s, man.
Well, we'll see.
Coming up on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
He gives you the latest sports news, interviews, and life-changing commentary with a smile on his face. Because he wears those ticklish underpants.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
That was a good one. Thank you, other big voice guy.
So many big voices around here.
It's not even really a big voice guy, just a guy.
Just a man.
Press release alert, Josh.
Oh, hello. Okay.
Creighton's Ryan Kalkbrenner named to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar watch list.
Kareem
Watch out.
Abdul-Jabbar is watching him?
He could be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Oh.
No, this is just for, this is basically the center of the year.
Oh, okay.
Got a chance to watch Creighton practice yesterday. And
yeah, what were the big takeaways?
Oh, I just watched Ryan Kalkbrenner yell the entire time.
He's become a leader.
Black! That's all. If you ever
black,
that's like one of their defensive coverages.
Oh, okay.
You could hear it from miles away.
Maybe we could pick any other color.
It's a color, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
It's a color.
Seems weird.
It's one of their defensive coverages. Okay. Spoiler alert. It doesn't matter what defensive coverage they're in, as long as Ryan Kalkbrenner. Like, I wondered out loud.
Put your hands up, Ryan.
Does Ryan Kalkbrenner get bored sometimes? You know, when he's just sitting there waiting for people to run at him and try and dunk on him, does he get bored?
Bring it.
Yeah.
Do it. I dare you.
Oh, we're going to switch on the screen?
Do it.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Tree man!
Yeah. I wonder if sometimes he gets bored.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Like during like a DePaul, like a UTRGV.
Yeah. What's he doing?
Yeah. What's he thinking?
Also, I hope that they could get Fedor Zugic eligible.
You like that guy?
I do.
Okay. What do we got to do?
Well, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of eligibility. Illinois got their guy eligible, I think, today.
So it's just a paperwork.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's just
it's not a is he actually eligible issue.
Well, the NCAA has to decide.
Okay.
If he's eligible.
They generally are pretty lenient.
There are lawyers involved.
Okay.
Fedor has an
billable hours.
He has a bit of an extreme case, considering he's played multiple seasons of professional basketball
he's
already.
A KG vet.
It's kind of interesting. Maybe they could just say, why don't they just say handshake meme? Like, all right, you don't get to have him for 4 years because he's like 21 years old already.
You tell me.
I think he's 21.
Okay.
So
drinks on him.
I don't know. Like maybe they would just say, all right, fine. He's a junior, or something like that. He's eligible, but he's a junior.
But not all the eligibility.
Would you take that? Would you take that deal? Yeah, I think you would. Or maybe they want it all. Who knows? But yes, Creighton would like it if that guy got eligible. I'll just say that. All right, history lesson time, Josh.
Let's go.
All right, so Nebraska and UCLA have played each other 13 times. Nebraska most recently won this game in the 2015 Foster Farms Bowl. Shout out to the academic progress rate.
That's right.
Nebraska was not above it, and they went to a bowl game at 5-7 that year.
Gross.
5-7. They got to a bowl game. And guess what? For those of you who think you're better than me, they went to that bowl game. They won that bowl game against Josh Rosen in his hot tub in his dorm room, UCLA Bruins, and it propelled them to start 7-0 the next season.
Oh.
Under Mike Riley.
Nice guy.
That was the last time Nebraska and UCLA played each other. I've been looking at many, many pictures from most all the matchups this week. What a great color clash game. Excellent color clash game.
Red, blue, gold, white.
Yes. Very good. Especially the games in Pasadena when the sun sets behind the San Gabriel Mountains, Josh.
I've heard of this.
Oh my.
The Big Ten zone, San Gabriel Mountains.
When UCLA wears their blue jerseys at home with their gold helmets and they kind of shine a little bit, and then Nebraska wears their red and white that just pops so well on the road. That is a picture. That's why Nebraska should get back to the Rose Bowl again. They might have to settle for just playing UCLA on the road next year in the meantime. So the last time these two teams played was 2015, obviously in the Foster Farms Bowl. They had a home and home in 2012 and 2013. 2012, all I can remember is Jonathan Franklin catching swing passes to the sideline and beating every slow-ass Nebraska linebacker to the punch, including Josh's favorite person, Will Compton. 2013, Nebraska had a large lead where they wore their black uniforms at home and lost to, I believe it was Brett Hundley in UCLA by the final count of 41-21. I think it was 21-3 at one point in Nebraska.
Oh,
it was a bad day.
Yeah, I remember. Okay, I remember that game.
It was a
now.
bad day.
Let it slip.
They played a home and home in 93 and 94. Nebraska won both of those. They played a home and home in 87 and 88, 83 and 84, 72 and 73, and 46 and 48. So these two teams have played each other in every decade, I guess, except for the what do you call those? The aughts.
Yes.
The zeros. Did not play each other in that one. But this is a pretty frequent non-conference matchup for Nebraska, and they, for the first time tomorrow, meet as conference opponents. And so one of the things we do every week, Josh, is we try to find some of the coverage from the in this case it'd be the 1946 game, the first time these two teams met. This got off to a rousing start a few weeks ago when Nebraska played Rutgers, and we had to tell the whole story of the 1923 game, or 22 or whatever that was, when Nebraska went to the Polo Grounds and they went to the Hippodrome the night before. And that whole thing. That was fun. I really enjoyed that. And in the week since, it's been a little bit more difficult to find articles, previews, post-game reports, things like that. But I do have a little something. In 1946, these two teams met for the first time. UCLA was ranked number 4 in the country. Nebraska was not ranked. Nebraska lost 18-0 when these two teams met for the very first time. I was able to recover a document, a page from the LA Daily News, November 29th, 1946, Josh. Interesting, 1946.
1946.
This is a preview. These two teams played on the 30th of November, 1946. So this is a preview. And in fact, LA was so progressive at the time that there was an entire gambling advice column in the newspaper by a guy named Gordon Macker. Gordon Macker had takes about what to do with Nebraska and UCLA from a gambling perspective. UCLA went in as 4 touchdown favorites against the Cornhuskers. And we now know the results, of course. It was only 18-0 for the final score. So let me read you a couple. Or Josh, do you have it in front of you? Does 1940s man have it in front of you?
The UCLA 27-point choice column.
UCLA 27.
Is that the headline of the column we would like to read?
UCLA 27-point choice. I think it just says Gordon Macker. It just says Gordon Macker. And then it says, well, for your football parlay this weekend, men. It starts that way. Let me read a couple things to you.
Okay.
All right. Well, for your football parlay this weekend, men, the thumb gives you Nebraska and USC. Wait a minute there. Frankovich and O'Houlihan, take it easy, will you? I didn't say the Cornhuskers would shuck our Rose Bowlers or that the Caravats would beat my Harps. My rundown is based on the number of points you have to give away if you wish to double your money. And at my favorite Spring Street Smoke Shop yesterday afternoon, if you like the UCLA's over the Nebraskas, you had to lay 27 points. And if you cared to bet a bob or a biscuit or a bottle cap on the Irishers, you had to come up with 25 big fat digits. That, of course, means that if you think UCLA is a shoe-in under and over, your Bruins will have to score 4 more touchdowns than the Nebraskas because you can before you can cash in your ticket. And in that case, you wanted something going for you on the South Benders. Your South Benders would have to get. So this was also the same week of USC and Notre Dame.
Mm.
Your South Bender. So he's basically he wants to do.
He's constructing a parlay.
He wants to do a UCLA. He wants to do a USC Nebraska parlay. That's what he's telling people. He wants to do a UCLA Nebraska parlay, and he had his reasons for picking. No, we'll or USC. I'm sorry. I'll get to the pick, and if he was right, and if he cashed in on this in a second, or if he had to go back to the smoke shop and get, punched in the face or something like that. But let me tell you why he's including Nebraska. He wants Nebraska plus 27. Gordon Macker does. So now let's move over to the Coliseum. He says a very fine UCLA team is playing a Nebraska club that hasn't looked any too good to date. But Nebraska is not a Montana. I don't even know what that means. Mind you, the Bruins won't be cocky or overconfident. They won't coast. Still in all, they're not overly worried about the Cornhuskers, and La Brucherie, the coach of UCLA at the time, will do his best to keep them under wraps. While I can see the chance of a USC win over Notre Dame, I can't envision a Nebraska victory over UCLA. But them 27 points, he writes, that's a different thing. I'm marking my card that UCLA won't score 4 times more than the squad from the land of Zimmerman and Wolf.
And then right under that, there's an ad for barbells.
Barbells.
You can buy barbells.
Barbells. You can just buy barbells.
And then under that,
how much do the barbells cost, Josh?
A 100-pound set is $14.95. 150-pound set is $22.95. But
that's from Independent Ironworks in LA.
It's Friday and Saturday only.
Yeah, we got a deal on barbells this weekend.
And then an ad under that. Yep. Racing every Sunday at Hippodromo de Tijuana.
The Tijuana Hippodrome. Look at that. Unbelievable. All right. So, and I'll get to the USC part too. I want to go back here to his other piece of the parlay. He's got Nebraska. And he was right. Nebraska lost 18-0. They covered. All right.
Boom.
They covered in that football game.
They got shut out and covered.
They got shut out and they covered. Good teams win. Great teams cover. So he says, let's go back to South Bend. Notre Dame is going to run up a 25-point margin over USC, huh? That would be the line. That's the line that he's referencing. Maybe so. But let's look at the records. Only once in the long rivalry of these two schools has a game wind up at a difference of more than 25 points. This guy did his homework. That was that Black Saturday in 1930 when Notre Dame knocked off the greatest team in Trojan history on the Coliseum grass, 27-0. That was the time, you might recall, when a few of our town's more widely read hacks broadly hinted that Howard Jones should use only the second team of his thundering herd. Now I got to scroll up a little bit to make the game a semblance of a contest. As it turned out, Jones could have used his first and second teams at the same time and probably would not have been able to stop that inspired Newt Rockney's squad. The tables are turned this trip. Notre Dame isn't considered any worse than the second best football club in the country. On the other hand, the Trojans haven't looked much better than Pepperdine in some of their appearances before the home folk. While they've improved week after week and outplayed UCLA in practically every department last Saturday, there's a feeling among the betting fraternity that USC was fired to the hilt in that last game, and having blown it, that a letdown is inevitable. Look at this. This is way, way inside the lines. It's their contention that SC was playing for all or nothing last week, and having lost their chance at the Rose Bowl, there will be no incentive for them tomorrow. Phooey, he says. Despite the hometown rivalry between USC and UCLA, Troy's number one enemy has always been Notre Dame. A win over UCLA is fine, but it's been USC's victories over Notre Dame that have made them nationally famous, national champions. At any rate, I'll take Troy in the 25 points. The men of Troy, that is.
That's right.
And wouldn't you know it, on November 30th, 1946, Notre Dame 26, USC 6. That is a cover. That is a parlay winner for our dear friend, Gordon Macker.
Gordon Macker.
And he broke it down all perfectly in the LA Daily News, November 29, 1946.
Sorry, I couldn't find the
It's okay.
Article right there.
Well, you got there.
I
right?
did.
You got there eventually.
I did.
Now I have Josh. This is where you might want to come in.
Okay.
We have something else that we've pulled from the archives.
Mm-hmm.
The 1948 UCLA Nebraska game program.
Oh, yeah. You don't know who you're rooting for without a program.
This was the first time that these two teams met in Lincoln. UCLA did win this game 27-15. In fact, Nebraska didn't win a game in this series until 73. It took Tom Osborne to beat UCLA. So Josh, why don't we put up, and I could go find it. We have it here for you on the YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Here is the game program as it covers our faces exclusively. Josh, what's going on in this game program?
Well, it looks like when you open it up, there's some information on the left-hand side, and
yeah, it's the starters and things of that nature.
2/3 of your open program, as it is displayed to you, is an ad for Chesterfield cigarettes. Right combination, world's best tobaccos. Why is tobaccos plural? We don't know. It's Chesterfield. ABC. Always buy Chesterfields. Voted tops at America's colleges.
That's what it says.
Voted tops at America's colleges. That is what it says.
Right combination, world's best tobaccos. Chesterfield. And then there's a picture of a man holding a cigarette while adjusting his radio dial.
No, that's his TV dial.
There's TV. Oh yeah, there's TV. There's TV. Yeah. While adjusting his TV dial. Only people with TVs smoke Chesterfields.
The luxury cigarette, Chesterfield.
Clarence says, when you sit down and take some football and take some cancer too.
That hasn't been proven by medical professionals yet.
Not yet. Not yet. There you go. There's our 1948. That's at Nebraska. And we're talking, so that was sold in Lincoln. We're for as much consternation as about selling alcohol and things like that at our football games.
Oh, yeah.
And we're talking about advertising for cigarettes right there, front and center.
How does Family Values Stacy or whatever her name is on the Board of Regents?
What is her name?
I always forget.
Nancy? Something like that?
Feels like a Nancy.
Yeah. I just really enjoyed reading Gordon Macker's gambling advice column.
So another interesting thing in
and
that
he called
paper,
people hacks.
You did. I like that.
He was like, hacks? Yeah. What are some other things you're seeing on the sports section, Josh?
There's a headline. I'll read it to you. Grimm snags Grand Prix.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Any further information?
Husky Perry Grimm, a race driver with a smooth throttle toe and a pair of Dukes to match, drove through the fumes and fog to win the 100-lap Grand Prix at Gilmore Stadium last night. A near-capacity crowd of 17,000 Gasoline Alley customers watched Grimm tool his sleek blue and white job to the checkered flag in record-breaking time of 25 minutes, 48 and a half seconds.
Look at that. Other headlines include on the sports page, LA boat leads.
Like leads on a boat? Like, hey, you looking for a boat? I got a lead.
I think there's a boat race.
Oh, okay.
And one of the LA boats leads. Turkey for Rams, who beat the Giants at the Polo Grounds on Thanksgiving. Smokies strengthened.
Oh, is that about Chesterfield?
No, it's not.
That's a shame.
It's about hockey, I think, in some way. And they're also advertising a sporting event between the Los Angeles Dons and the Buffalo Bisons, Sunday, December 1st at the Coliseum at 2. 60,000 general admission seats each cost $1 a piece.
Oh, here's one more. Okay.
You could also get choice 35-yard line reserved seats for $2 or 50-yard line reserved seats for $3.50. Premium stuff.
Illinois awarded bid to play UCLA in bowl.
Okay.
Illinois, winner of the Western Conference Football Championship today, was awarded officially the Big Nine's Rose Bowl berth, and athletic director Doug Mills immediately announced acceptance of the bid. Designation of Illinois as the Big Nine representative in the New Year's Day game at Pasadena was made by Commissioner Kenneth L. Wilson after tabulation of complete ratings made by the faculty representatives of the 9-member schools.
So this is the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
This is the Rose Bowl, of which Illinois won handily, 45-14 that year.
Wow.
So shout out to a lot of things from that segment. First of all, Gordon Macker, the
Great
GOAT,
column.
one of like a man that was way ahead of his time. He could have made it now. And of course, this great history between Nebraska and UCLA. Nebraska could take a 2-game lead on the Bruins tomorrow. What do you think that Gordon Macker would have thought about the matchup in 2024 between these two teams? Could he have fathomed?
He definitely would have called the Bruins soft. Hacks.
Jeremy writes in.
Hi, Jeremy.
Wait, a 100-lap Grand Prix took only 25 minutes?
I just read the articles, man.
Cody says, I love the ad that shows the person smoking in the stadium.
Yeah.
That's great. Just incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. SEAL Team Nick writes in on YouTube.
Hi, SEAL Team Nick.
Is Tops the Sigma or Skibbity toilet of the 1920s?
Oh, well, that's going up at Happer Show.
It's a fair question. I'd love to have that answered. All right, we'll be back. Our dear friend Steve Sipple is on the other side. He's ready to go. I can't tell you that he's in the green room yet, but we're going to call him, and I think he's going to answer. I think we got a good shot today, Josh.
Love our chances.
Back after this on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Steve Sipple,
The conversation gets even more uncomfortable, okay?
Steve Sipple on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Thank you, see there. It's time to have a chat with our dear friend Stephen M. Sipple, HuskerOnline.com. Sipple, hello. How are you?
Happer, what's happening?
It's great to talk to you.
Yes, good to talk to you too. We missed there's some travel issues.
Well, yes, yeah. We knew that was going to happen. So it's good. It's good to have everybody back home and in the same place. What are you doing today?
Oh, I've been laying kind of low. I did my show. Now I'm just gonna restart my day here with this call. How about that, Happer? You're integral to my day.
We'll try and get you thinking again. Try and get your mind back on football.
Yeah, for a bit. Fridays are pretty easy for me during the season, so I don't like to do too much, but I don't mind talking to you.
Oh, well, we're happy to have you on the show. Okay. So tomorrow it's another big one. You always say all the games are big, and they most certainly are. I've been asking people this week how big of a deal it is for Nebraska to get the 6th win for them, for the psyche of this team and for the weight of, the weight that it could potentially lift off of your shoulders. Do you feel that? Like, has that been there? Especially considering Nebraska went 0-4 in their chances to get to 6 wins last year.
I guess the one way to answer that was just think if they lose this game. Tell me how that would be.
It would be quite pressure packed. Yes.
Or unpleasant.
Unpleasant. Yes.
Yeah, it's big. It's a huge game. It's a huge game for the bowl. The bowl discussion is very local, right? It's not a national discussion. Nobody nationally is watching this game to see if Nebraska makes a bowl. But in our little world, it's a big topic, and then it's a pretty big recruiting weekend too. So, and you have to start winning these. Have to start showing tangible progress and qualifying for bowl season, tangible progress. But absolutely, that mental discussion. We have so many of those.
We do.
We're a very psychology oriented fan base, but yeah, I can't wait. It's big. I want to see how they play under these circumstances.
And do you think they'll? Because they spent like the majority of this week talking about, hey, like this is finally the tipping point. It feels like once you get to this point, then there's no, like, do you believe them when they say, all right, we really found something last week and this is kind of who we are now?
Yeah. Your colleague, John Bishop, asked me a derivative of that question this week. And it was basically, do you trust this team?
Yeah.
And it's a great question. And it does largely come down to that. I don't know how to answer it. I'd say if I'm being completely, you want me to be completely honest.
I would love that. Yes.
I can't say I totally do.
Oh, I don't. Now, do you trust them to win this game, and do you trust them is a different thing, I think. Because I think they'll win, but I don't know. We'll see how well they play.
Yeah. Now, Schaefer, who's, comes on, you talk to Schaefer, he comes on our show.
Yes.
He makes a good point. They've been pretty trustworthy, outside of a couple games. This team has been trustworthy.
I don't know. That Indiana game hurt.
Right. That's what I was getting at. And so I don't, and some of it too comes down to what do you trust all parts of the team? I do. I largely trust the defense. In some ways, I trust the offense, and in some ways, I trust the special teams. I would like to see Nebraska put together 4 quarters, which has been they haven't come close to doing that. That would help everybody's trust level, I think. So yeah, here we are. We're still waiting for some things that we thought might happen to happen, and maybe and part of the fun is maybe it will all come together tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah. How have you felt they've? I know Dylan Raiola's comments were, interesting. He takes responsibility for a lot that's going on with the offense right now. How do you feel like they've handled all the noise with the lack of performance with the offense over the last couple of weeks?
Seems like they've handled it well. I mean, the principals are Dylan and Satterfield and Rule, and Rule handles all that stuff very well. Satterfield is very matter of fact, which helps in his position, and Dylan is precocious. He seems like he's older than he is, which helps him, and he's very He has a very responsible way about him. He does take responsibility. He was raised very well, and he understands his role is to take responsibility, and that's what a quarterback should do. Because he's a leader. The one thing you wouldn't want any quarterback to do is go to a podium and start kind of pointing fingers, right?
Yeah.
And Dylan clearly has been, he studied the position. He just understands his role at a very high level. So I think the answer is they have handled that part well. It comes down to finding wrinkles. I would characterize him scrambling last week, willingness to scramble to wrinkle, and maybe they can find something else along those lines.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think how much has that changed the chemistry for them? I felt like that was not only a big deal for them to sort of jumpstart things on offense, but also a big deal for him as it pertained to like confidence. We had wondered how confident he was with him being Dylan Raiola, I'm talking about, with injuries and things like that. To see him confidently pull it down and run it, including having a big one finished off by a stiff arm and he's pushed out of bounds. I thought that was really great to see. And I feel like, I don't think you need to design any of that stuff, but getting him in, as much as they said, this is sort of a long drawn out thing, but as much as Rule said at the beginning of the year, hey, we're just going to give him everything and expect him to execute some of these things. I do feel like he needs to be jump started sometimes, that was a good thing for him last week.
Yeah. I look at this more as a pragmatic discussion than like an emotional, mental discussion, emotional/mental. It's practical because of the way Ohio State played, which I'm not going to go down this X's and O's road too far, but they played man-to-man. They pressured and played man-to-man, man-free. And when that happens, and the quarterback's not accounted for, there can be a lot of opportunities for the quarterback to tuck it and go.
Yep.
Well, it just so happens that UCLA pressures and plays man-free. That's kind of their MO. So this might be as much a practical discussion as anything. Dylan is smart. He studies teams. I mean, I guarantee he knows what Wisconsin does. And he knew this might have just been a very cold tactical decision on his part. This is what Ohio State could do, and if they do it, I'm going to have opportunities. Now, you have to look back. I'm sure there were times when other teams were playing man, especially on that perimeter, and he could have probably taken off and did.
Yeah, I think that's happened a little bit for sure.
Yeah. So I think now he's deciding what this has got to happen. And we saw on the 38-yard run, it was just wide open. But he scrambled a few times in that game before the 38-yard run. He had some 5-yard scrambles that sort of raised my eyebrow. Now, I was told that morning, I was asking about how his health, and I was told, no, he's fine, he's going to run. So there was a plan, and I think that would be in place this week. I'm sure it would be. They got to find ways to move the ball. He's pretty good run. I'm with you, App. I thought that when I saw him in Hawaii. He's not unathletic.
No,
he's an athletic kid, and he's 6'3", 230. And when he gets rolling downfield, it's a pretty good look.
How is his health, by the way?
Good.
It's fine now. Like the shoulder thing, is that anything to be concerned about?
Oh, I was referring mostly to the ankle.
Yeah, and there's both of those things now.
I know he was completely fine going into last week's game. I don't know about the shoulder. I haven't heard any. I will just tell you, I don't mind saying, I haven't heard anything this week that would suggest there's an issue.
Okay.
So I'd be surprised if there's a. Listen, he's not perfectly healthy. Who is? Hell, you're not. I'm not.
I'm definitely not.
But you played. But you played baseball. You have a sore arm, something. So he has some ailments. But I think he'll be ready to roll tomorrow, as far as I know.
So okay. So how if that's not a concern, I'm not saying that that's not like a possibility that could be hampering him during the games. How does Nebraska get him to hit on some of these passes that he's just like? Obviously, the answer is everybody misses sometimes.
Yeah.
But there's been some times this year where, man, they wiped points off the board. They left a lot out there just by, it feels like a 1-to-1 if Dylan makes a better throw or a more confident throw.
I know. Yeah, there's definitely that. I mean, but you watch the NFL, as I do, not as much as you, but I saw Jameis Winston airmail a wide open receiver on Sunday.
Yeah.
I point out Jameis because he's one of my favorite players, but I saw Mahomes airmail one on Sunday. It happens. I'm not too worried. I'm not too worried about his accuracy. He's an accurate thrower. He has missed some big ones. No, he missed a big one against Illinois that may have won the game. He missed Corey Barney in the end zone. He should make that throw, and the result's different. And we're hypersensitive to it because these are close games that we're talking about. If they weren't, we wouldn't even be talking about, right? If Nebraska were winning by 2 touchdowns, we wouldn't even be talking about those throws. But they're always in these close games where every play's magnified. Tomorrow's going to be probably like that too, where I think a lot, everything's magnified because of the conversation we had earlier in this discussion. There's some pressure on Dylan, but I think he'll handle it well. Somebody see it, and we always go down this road too. Some of it's not him. I mean, some of it's those missed throws were him, but the passing game is not all on him. They don't get open on the perimeter. They don't beat man coverage very well. A lot of the discussion about Nebraska has become about that. I hope people understand it's about beating man coverage.
Yeah,
and they don't, especially on the perimeter. They haven't done that very well. So you couple that with the fact they don't run it particularly well. 99th or 102nd in the country, whatever they are now. I think it's 102 now. That's challenges. There's challenges for Satterfield. There's challenges for Dylan.
This doesn't feel like the kind of game where the run game, gets its feet back underneath it, given what UCLA does against the run. This feels a little bit more like a wide open passing attack. What is a good total for Nebraska in this game running the football? They're like you said, 102nd in the country, 126 yards per game. They might not even need that much against UCLA. Do you agree?
Oh, I think it'd be tough sledding that way.
Yeah.
They're 13th in the country. UCLA's 13th in the country against the run. And I've watched them, and that's the thing I was most struck by. Is they're big and strong up front. So 140. I think if you got to 140 or 150, you'd feel pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty low expectations. As a coach once told me, if you set your expectations low enough, you'll reach them every time. So that maybe you'd like to crank that up a little bit, maybe 165. Maybe that'd be better actually. 165, 170. If they got 170, let's put it this way.
They're cooking if they get 170. Yeah.
If the running backs get 170, I think you'd just say W.
Yeah. Yes.
And that would be good. It'd be good to get that. You kind of got it going they got it going in the third quarter against Ohio State. I'd like to see some carryover, especially with the USC game in our thoughts too. They're going to have to run the ball against USC.
Yep. All right. Big one, as they all are this weekend. Sipple, we'll see you tomorrow. Looking forward to it.
All right, Happer. I'm glad we could do it. Take care.
Always good to talk. Steve Sipple of HuskerOnline.com. Also a big fan of Jameis Winston. Handshake me. Wow.
That
wow.
That surprised me. It surprised Mike as well on YouTube.
Absolutely.
Sip loving Jameis Winston is something new I learned today.
Also, Sipple, remember, a huge fan of first down signs.
That's right.
He loves those. Sometimes Sipple will throw you off the scent a little bit.
UCLA opponents are averaging 98.5 yards on the ground per game.
Yeah, that's right. That's 13th in the country.
Mm-hmm.
That's 5th in the conference. Mostly because teams are able to find such success in the pass game against their defense that they're just like, oh, we'll just do this. Remember, Nebraska had a defense that was built that way in what year was this? I think it was 2015. I think it was Riley's first year. For whatever reason, Nebraska was like elite in run defense, and they were ass at pass defense. Teams that even in the Big Ten, I remember. I think it was Northwestern with Clayton Thorson. They toss it all over the yard on Nebraska. It was just there for them. I don't know. I don't know if it's because how stout they are. Rule was like they have excellent defensive linemen. I think they have pretty good defensive linemen, but they're just like, it's not like they're pressuring. They're kind of just holding people up, and not that that's a bad thing. Like, right, they're doing their assignment, they're doing their job. You stop the run game, you stop the run game. So that'll be Nebraska's challenge, but interesting to see if they can get some guys open.
What was the number Sip wanted?
He said 175. I mean, that is absurd.
Some numbers.
Yeah, Nebraska ain't running for 175.
No.
That would be a great day if Nebraska runs for that much.
Indiana ran for 123.
Yeah.
Oregon ran for a season high 153. That's the most UCLA's given up in a game. Penn State ran for 85. Rutgers ran for 135.
Yeah, I mean, Nebraska, they can get around 100, 115, 120. They're going to be like, okay,
yep, we've done excellent.
That's good. Obviously, if it's going well and they have that mark going into the fourth quarter, then great, just run them.
Keep going.
But I don't know. That seems like it'll be a hard number to achieve. I think little preview for the 1 o'clock segment. I think it will be Dylan Raiola's best day as a Husker.
Hello.
I think it will be Dylan Raiola's best day in terms of yardage as a Husker.
Silence the haters.
He has not yet had a 300-yard passing day. I believe it will happen tomorrow.
Oh my.
Back after this, the top 5 polls the month of October. Oh, RIP October. We'll send it off next on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the clown.
John emails in the Equitable Bank inbox.
Hi, John.
Tomorrow is going to be Dylan's best day. That would be awesome. It would mean Rule took the play calling away from the imbecile,
no.
and Thomas called the entire game. The imbecile.
What a great insult. Underrated.
Yeah,
insult.
really good. Really good. You want to really get after somebody? Call him an imbecile.
Idiot or dumbass is so
Yeah.
so commonplace, right? Like
Uh-huh.
it rolls right off your
You
back.
gotta
Somebody
go
calls
right
you
back to
an
imbecile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right, top 5 poll questions month of October. I think we had some bangers, Josh.
It was difficult to pare down, as I've said many times. I will be honest with the audience. I didn't necessarily pare it down to 5. But we'll begin, as we always do, with some other superlatives.
I'm going to eat this chili.
Please. Most voted on poll question of the month came from just a few days ago, October 29th. And once again, the audience has tricked me into having to say this. Is Dylan Raiola finna be like Mike Vick? How was that the most voted on thing we did this month?
People have opinions on it.
64% of the audience said no. Now, you can't get...
I also say no for the record.
Right. You can't get people to agree on anything. So what was the most shared outcome, the most lopsided poll of October? It came all the way back from October 10th. I don't remember how we got here, but that's part of the fun. Did they call it the steroid era because guys were doing steroids?
Is that why they called it that?
This has got to have a low troll rate because it's right there in the name, right?
Yeah, maybe that's what we were going for.
Maybe.
We were just trying to get it on the list.
89.8% of the audience said yes.
Not even 90.
Not even 90. This wouldn't even be the top 5 most lopsided polls of the year.
Do you need air to live? 90% said yes.
I could do it without. It's fine. Which leads us to top 5 poll questions of the month.
God, come on. Take forever.
Number 5.
Look, there's a tie, okay? They came on the same day, and they were both great. I couldn't kill one.
This is you trying to get more things in.
Yeah,
I
that's
get
right.
it.
October 23rd, we asked a couple of bangers. This had to be was this a Monday? This feels like a Monday.
I could pull up my days of the week.
Why have my calendar in November? Oh, because it's November.
It was
That's why
a
my calendar's in
Wednesday.
November. When Nebraska loses by 5 touchdowns, should everyone in the state get a free slice of Valentino's pizza the next day? Hashtag Big Red Pizza Party.
We don't do hashtags a lot.
We really don't. 87% of the audience said yes.
Of course.
And just one I'm quite fond of. Would you rip an Orange Crush right now?
That was a fun one. I like that one.
72.5% of the audience said yes, of course. I love the Big East.
Many of our listeners took photos of them trying to rip an orange. There was a couple people who struggled to get Orange
It's
Crushes.
hard to find.
Wow.
Number 4.
Wow.
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 I think this is maybe the controversial poll question we asked on October 15th. Maybe we got away with something here. Maybe we shouldn't bring it back up, but I'm going to. Was JFK the Travis Hunter of his time? He played offense and defense.
Yeah, there you go.
65% of the audience said no.
Wow. Wow. Didn't like the comp, I guess.
Come on, people. Come on.
Okay.
Just go with us on the journey.
3. Combination of 3 and 5.
Number 3.
Also on October 23rd. What a banger day for poll questions. Gary says a lot of silly things in the morning crossover, and we laugh at him and go, that's a stupid thing you've just said.
Yeah.
This is maybe his best.
Really? Wow.
Is Up a classic whodunit?
We had to explain to him Up, and he was like, wait a minute, how'd the wife die?
Natural causes.
Natural causes, right?
I guess I don't know. I don't have access.
They basically yada yada'd that.
They did.
They didn't say how she died.
Disney hiding her chart. What are you hiding, Pixar?
We never. There was no cause of death that was listed.
Right. 65% of the audience said no, Up is not a classic whodunit.
And nobody asked any questions either.
Right.
You know, it was just like, oh, she dead.
That old man just didn't really fight for her.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there was nothing he could do, but we just never got any answers.
No.
That's all.
I don't know if we ever will.
Here comes
Number 2.
In a shocking upset on our top 5 poll questions of the month of October, number 2 is, if you respond to a Go Big Red chant, are you a sheep?
Somebody claimed that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, oh, you people is responding to Go Big Red chants.
You sheep.
Go Big Red. You know what I do when they say that? I don't do anything because I'm not a sheep and I can think for myself.
That's right. 51% of the audience said, yes, you are a sheep. Do people secretly hate the Go Big Red chant?
Now, that is an interesting discussion because I have a sense that there is it's situationally dependent, right? If you're getting ready for a football game, it's a big game, just probably throw it all out the window. But, you know, let's say it's a women's basketball game.
Oh.
And they're up by 40 or something like that.
God, I didn't think about that.
And there's the one guy that says, Go Big Red. People are kind of like,
all right.
I'd like to just watch this game in silence and leave as fast as possible. I don't want this to be an interactive experience anymore. I want to go home. Just think about it a little bit.
Oh, man. I didn't even think about that application of it. All the other Husker sports.
It's all situationally dependent.
All right. That was the one Connor pegged for number 1.
Yeah, I thought that was a really good one.
What could possibly beat that? Got to go way back in the month.
Make it so, number 1.
Number 1.
Comes to us from October the 4th.
October the 4th.
Is Isaiah Pacheco a little...
He is. I stand by that.
59% of the audience agreed with us that Isaiah Pacheco is a little...
That is one of the... that was back when Isaiah Pacheco was still playing football.
Yeah.
Wow.
Miss that guy.
Yeah, my fantasy team does. I can tell you that. Yeah, I how many percent said yes?
59.
Oh, should have been more than that. Come on. Should have been much more than that. All right.
Yeah, 59.
59. Josh already threw it away.
I close tabs. I throw hard copies away immediately.
It's gone. All right. Gives you something to think about. I thought that was a good bunch. Thank you all for participating in the polls as always and supporting our weird obsession with poll questions.
We just want to get data from you.
Yeah, we're data mining. All right, 1 o'clock hour, keys and peas. Our keys to the game, our picks for the weekend. It's a big weekend for the Big Ten. And our polls from today, of course, which today is November, Josh.
And my Will Compton prediction.
That's right.
For the big game tomorrow.
Back after this on 1620 The Zone. look at this. It must be June 26th because we have conference realignment.
It's November.
That's right. Conference realignment. The Mountain West is expanding again. It's bringing in Grand Canyon.
That doesn't.
GCU.
Do they play football? They were looking for a football member.
Maybe they're pivoting to basketball. Like, remember when everybody pivoted to video?
Yeah, I do. Unfortunately,
They're
it killed journalism.
Pivoting to basketball.
But weren't they
It
like,
did
hey,
kill
we
journalism, by the
need
way.
football only members, or we need full members who play football, or something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah, you take what you can get.
Mm-hmm. It's a great basketball pickup.
It's a good all sports pickup, right?
I don't know.
According to Jeff Goodman, source, it will happen no later than July 1, 2026, but possibly as early as the second quarter of 2025, if permitted under the conference's bylaws. So they were originally going to go to the WCC.
Oh, okay.
And now they're going to the they're going to go to the Mountain West, the lone non-football member of the Mountain West. After Boise, so remember, just to refresh here.
I actually do need a refresher on this. Thank you.
Boise, Utah State, San Diego State, Colorado State went to the Pac-12, or are going to the Pac-12. Remember?
Yes.
The Pac-12 is live again. They're going there. Then there needs to be there's holes to be filled in the Mountain West. So the Mountain West will be made up of the following. Air Force, Hawaii, Nevada, New Mexico, San Jose State, UNLV, UTEP, Wyoming, and Grand Canyon. That's a conference.
Mm-hmm. It is.
All right. Most of those schools are on the West Coast. Sure. Why not? Grand Canyon's been to the NCAA tournament, I think, 3 out of the last 4 years. GCU baseball. The Huskers played them last year.
Yeah.
I think maybe each of the last 2 years.
To close the loop about my babbling about Mountain West football and members and all that.
Yeah.
From October 3rd, Mountain West is in discussions with Hawaii about the school joining the league as a full member.
Yep.
Hawaii has been a Mountain West football member since 2012, and its non-football sports are in the Big West. Mountain West needs one full member to meet FBS requirements.
Oh, so they still need a full member.
Still need a full member.
Cool. Well, I hope they find what they're looking for.
They were targeting Northern Illinois and Toledo, noted Western Conference, Western schools.
Are you serious? They were?
Yeah. Well, they need a football school, and they're like, why don't we get a good football school?
Yeah, but you can't just take one of them from the MAC. They got to have friends.
That's true. Scheduling agreement.
All right. Here we go. Let's go with the keys and the P's for this weekend. Nebraska and UCLA tomorrow, 2:30 on the BTN. Nebraska looks to clinch bowl eligibility. I have a couple stats for you first. We mentioned both of these earlier, but I will repeat them because I believe they're worth repeating.
Different people listening at different times. You don't know if it's a repeat.
Nebraska, 4-19 in the month of November since the start of 2017, excluding 2020. Because 2020 wasn't at the end of the season, obviously. November was just like weirdly in the middle of the season.
Right.
In 2020.
Normal.
4-19 with wins coming over in 2018 over Illinois and Michigan State, 2019 against Maryland, and 2022 against Iowa. Other than that, they've lost every single game in November.
You disgust me.
Not in 2020. Also, Nebraska with a chance to go to a bowl game. 0-4 last year. 0-2 already this year. And Scott Frost's teams Scott Frost only coached one game where he had a chance to go to a bowl game.
All right.
Does that make sense? 2019, I guess when he was one win away from going, because I guess he had chances at the beginning of the season, right? But he only coached one game at Nebraska, the 2019 Iowa game, where they were one win away from bowl eligibility.
Some people would say every game is a chance to go to a bowl game because it's It's part of the puzzle, right?
I guess so. Every game is a new opportunity. Those stats suck. Nebraska could end up breaking them tomorrow against UCLA. And either fortunately or unfortunately, they'll have 4 opportunities to do it this year, just as they had 4 opportunities to do it last year. Actually, they will have as many as 6 opportunities to do it this year, which makes it worse.
A lot of cracks at it.
Yeah. They got to win one of these guys. Otherwise, we got big trouble. To our keys. First key is streaking. Streaking again.
We're going streaking.
We're going streaking. People forget, stat, Nebraska did not give up a rushing touchdown in any of its first 6 games this year. Remember that stat? Then
I do.
They gave up 5 rushing touchdowns to Indiana. And I got memed out of it. They put me in one of those stupid meme videos. People keep calling and hanging up. Stop it. Either call or don't. All right? Because you're angering Josh.
I'm actually fine.
Oh, okay. You're angering me. All right. Nebraska didn't give up a rush touchdown in any of the first 6 games of the season. They gave up 5 to Indiana. And then they went back to giving up 0 last week to Ohio State. Make it make sense. UCLA is not interested in running the ball. They run the ball 22 times a game, which is last in the country.
Wow.
Nebraska cannot afford to give up even a little on the ground on Saturday, and especially not a touchdown. Make them completely and totally one-dimensional, then get that pass rush going, because they've been a little turnover-y in that category as well. The quarterback has 8 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. Mr. Garbers. Somebody asked me this morning, why does Ethan Garbers look like that? I said, because his name is Ethan Garbers.
If your name was Ethan Garbers, you'd look like that too.
With all due respect. I just think if it's the key here is, if it's a weakness, make it be a weakness, right? We've seen this a couple times where the teams come in with these perceived weaknesses because that's what their stats say, and then all of a sudden they have their best day of the year in whatever category that is. That can't happen on Saturday for Nebraska. Basically, what I'm asking you to do is be normal. Be like every other team. Make the stats make sense.
Be normal. I actually like that suggestion. Yeah.
All right, key number 2. We're going to Steve Winwood. Josh.
Steve Winwood.
Not bring me a higher love. Not that. But it's a lesser known Steve Winwood joint. Back in the high life again. Back in the high life again. It's a great song. All the doors I close one time will open up again. And I'm saying this to young Dylon.
Dylon.
It's time for a big Dylon bounce back. Not big noon Saturday, big Dylon bounce back Saturday. This is a bad pass defense. So much so, like I mentioned in the first key, teams will just stop running against them because they've found so much success passing against them. I don't care how you do it. Throw your screens, throw your deep balls, throw your slants. I listen to the podcasts, and I read the newspapers, and I read the articles, and I read the blogs, and I read the message board posts, and they say, why don't they do this? Why don't they do this? Why don't do this? I don't care. I don't care how they do it. You can throw as many screens as you want. Get something that works. I need to see Dylan Raiola have a good game. It's all set up for him to do that. And I think he will, for the record. Like I said, I think this will be Dylan's best day.
It makes sense given the stats on paper for UCLA and for Dylan even, right?
Dylan Raiola passing yards by game this season are as follows. 238, 185, 247, 297, 257, 134, 234, and 152. I think Dylan Raiola has his first game in a Nebraska uniform where he goes over 300 passing yards.
Hello.
And he eclipses the 2,000 passing yards mark on the season. That touchdown interception ratio all of a sudden recently has got pretty wonky.
It's creeping.
So remember, he started off at 9-1 or 9-2. 9-2. Remember the two? Oh, the only interceptions he's ever thrown are not his fault, right? Remember that?
I do.
That was a long time ago.
Oh, no.
Since then, 0 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, including the 3 against Indiana. And maybe the Indiana game, you could just wipe it off of the board, whatever. But it hasn't been clean lately for him. Get Dylan Raiola back going again. Get him comfortable. And I do think, as I talked about with Sipple, like, I think he's a young quarterback, right? And as much as they want to put on his plate and as much as they want to treat him like an old guy and do, like, I do think you have to get him going. I do think you have to manufacture some things to make it easy for him in the early going. So whether that's him pulling one and running one and ramming into somebody, fine. Whether it's getting him going on a couple screens, slants, whatever, make something easy for him right away, get him into the game and go.
Don't say the S word.
Screens?
Yeah. Oh, don't say it.
Oh, they're going to do some screens.
It triggers
the
fan base.
You are going to see some screening on Saturday. They're going to screen.
Get used to it.
Theo says Frost technically made a bowl in 2020. No, he didn't. What? He didn't technically make a bowl. Just because they asked him if they wanted to go to a bowl and he said no doesn't mean they made it. They didn't make it. And they didn't win. They didn't win. 2020 doesn't count. There's 100 reasons why 2020 doesn't.
Throw that whole year out.
And the third and final key is prove it.
Prove it.
Prove it. These are more, abstract keys this week.
Sure.
You've been telling us it's different. Prove it. I might just believe you. I think that key is mostly manifested in Nebraska's defense. I believe you when you tell me that you're good, but I can't get the Indiana game out of my head. I can't forget about it. Make me forget about it. Make me think that you're closer to the Colorado game, to the Ohio State game defensively than you were against Indiana, because that was a disaster. And it's always going to stick in the back of my mind unless you stack together more. You're just going to have to earn some trust back. I'm sorry. I want to believe you really bad, but you got to prove it. That's the deal. Get off the field on third down. That was the key for last week, right? They were 1 of 10 on third down. It didn't matter. I mean, most of those were like 3rd and 1s, 3rd and 2s, right? Nebraska got stops. They got off the field and they got their offense back on the field and they were able to control the game. That's what you have to do yet again. Stop the run, sack the quarterback. I know it's a lot of things, but when Nebraska's playing with that edge, you know it when you see it. And I like, they got to have that. They got to have that tomorrow. Because it'll be a big deal in trying to cash this thing out down the stretch. Nebraska goes 6-3. And everything's in front of you for the last 3, and the defense plays well, you'll be feeling really, really great going into this bye week. You'll be trying to tell yourself Nebraska's going out to La La Land, and they are winning against USC.
Going to do the LA two-step or something. I don't know.
They're going to read Gordon Wacker's gambling column or whatever that guy was. That guy was awesome.
I think I would have remembered if his name was Gordon Wacker.
It was Gordon Macker, wasn't it?
That's right.
That guy's definitely dead. But I'd like to go to LA and read his gambling advice and for it to say the Huskers are going to beat the Trojan, the men of Troy. Prove it. That's all. Those are our 3 keys, Josh. Anything to add? You got any keys?
No.
Okay. I don't know why I asked.
I have things to say, and I'll say them in the next segment.
Will Compton. We'll do that. That's right. Josh's UCLA game hype speech is coming up after the break. We'll make our picks for the weekend. And I will not have a hype speech for you because I don't have time for that.
We don't need 2 hype speeches.
Yeah. Also, Josh probably doesn't have time for it either, but he still does it. And that's why we love Josh. Back with more next on 1620 The Zone. A couple texts in from the previous segment. This is from the 202.
Hello,
Shout out
202.
DC. What's popping in DC?
Oh.
4-19 in November since which year? That would be since the start of 2017. November of 2000, including November of 2017, excluding November of 2020 until this very moment. 4-19.
Makes total sense.
It's bad. It's bad. Including a smooth 0-4 last year. Clean slate, Josh. Also from Michael, are we playing a Josh Peterson hate ad today or what?
Whoa.
Well, and then the what is it? Chief Schmales, whatever that guy's name is from Groundhog from Gopher. What's that movie?
Caddyshack?
Caddyshack, yeah. I just think Gopher Ground, whatever. Well, we're waiting.
So
Justice Schmales, isn't that his name?
If I can peel the curtain
Judge
back
Schmales.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Had to whip up the
Oh, you had to back down a little bit because they got to you? The haters got to you?
No, actually, I've received nothing but unanimous praise for those ads. Had to do the Will Compton speech, so I couldn't make any new ones. Show was a little busy today. Didn't want to play the old ones because on Monday you're gonna hear the old ones. Okay, I'm doing a show by myself, so I'm gonna need content.
Understood. You are doing a show by yourself on Monday.
Washing and drying the dishes.
We will hear from Time Travel and Happer, though,
yes,
on Monday.
That'll be fun.
Maybe.
Bits every day on this show. What other show's giving you bits every day? Pre-recorded bits.
Judge Schmales. Thank you. Hey, people. It's been a while. I need a re-up on Caddyshack, probably.
We all should.
Poll question. Do you need a re-up on Caddyshack?
Okay.
Throw that one. It's just a late entry on a Friday. All right, to the picks, Josh. This is Keys and Peas after all. First, let's go back through the standings. Josh, we went into last week all knotted up.
Oh, did we? Okay.
Yes, we did. We were tied going into last week. And we ended last week tied.
Oh.
We both went 3-3 last week, bringing both of our records to 27-26 against the spread this year. Now, that wasn't because we made all the same picks. In fact, you picked Oregon. I picked Illinois. That's a winner for you. I picked Vanderbilt. You picked Texas. That's a win for me. I picked Wisconsin. You picked Penn State. That's a win for you. I picked Texas A&M. You picked LSU. That's a win for me.
I always pick LSU. I have to
You
stop doing
always
that.
hate Texas A&M. I have discovered this. In fact,
I don't believe in them.
No, you don't. You don't.
They're atop the SEC. I don't believe in them.
We both won on Nebraska. We both lost on Navy Notre Dame. Ouch. That Navy pick that we both had seemed like low-hanging fruit.
Got hyped. I got hyped.
And they got blasted.
They're almost a carbon copy of Northern Illinois. How could they not give Notre Dame a game?
All right, so here we go. Let's go to this week as we're tied. We begin with what? This is probably the game of the week, right?
Oh, almost definitely.
Okay. Number 4, Ohio State is a 3. Let me check this on the fly here. 3.5. 3.5.
Okay.
Point favorite at number 3, Penn State, 11 a.m. Big noon Fox. Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt, and the All-American girl, Jenny Taft. Ha ha.
That's right.
Ooh, Gus is gonna be on one tomorrow.
He is. This is
Big Gus. Big Gus time. I'll go first, I guess.
Okay.
I got narrative stub hold, Josh. Ohio State.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I like Ohio State.
Yeah, I do too.
Even though I dislike their quarterback, and I don't know, I just feel like I've been backed into this corner. I'm taking Ohio State.
This is more about
Penn State. Who
right?
Why would they play good in a big game for the first time ever?
That's what this is about. It is about. Remember last year when, hey, Penn State, we've got the quarterback now. We've got all these years it's been the quarterback's fault that we haven't won this big game, but now we got the quarterback. And he's in there, and we're gonna play great. And
he's healthy. Yeah. We're both taking the Bucks.
Yeah.
Number 1, Oregon is a 14.5-point favorite at Michigan. 2:30 CBS.
Quack, quack, Mr. Ducksworth.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I didn't have to think about this much.
Nope.
I believe that the final score of this game between Oregon and Michigan will be Oregon 31, Michigan 7.
Wow.
I think Oregon is going to thrash these guys.
I don't
How
know.
does Michigan keep up?
Yeah.
I don't understand. That line is not big enough. They should have put that at like if this was a different team dressed up as Michigan, if this was a different thing, but they had Michigan's resume, they'd be 21-point underdogs. If this wasn't Michigan, they'd be 3-touchdown underdogs.
God, I bet you I can't find it. Scrolling through Twitter during the last segment, it was these are the lines that have moved the most since
the start of the week.
Since the start of the week. And here it is. The opening spread for Michigan, Oregon probably came out.
Way back in the summer.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Michigan by 3. And it is now 14.5 for the Ducks.
It should be more. It should be 3 touchdowns. Oregon to cover easily. Texas Tech is at number 11. Iowa State. Oh boy, it always seems to get weird if Iowa State's involved.
Yeah,
it does. Iowa State is a 13.5-point favorite. 2:30 ESPN tomorrow. Josh, I don't know about you, but I'm not taking Iowa State to beat anybody by 2 touchdowns. They're good. They're good.
Yeah.
I think this game's got wacky written all over it. Texas Tech to cover. I don't know about to win, but to cover for sure.
Our first disagreement of the week.
Ooh.
I think the clones hear you talking. They want to go out and show everybody, hey, you got to start talking about Iowa State. Put some respect on our name.
Yeah. And so you're taking the clones.
Taking the clones.
Clones. All right. So we're different on that one. Number 13, Indiana. Indiana?
The Hoosiers?
Is a 7.5-point favorite at Meat Chicken State. 2:30 Peacock. How many devices can I get my Peacock on? Will be the question. Or you'll probably be watching the Nebraska game.
Yeah.
Or you might be at the Nebraska game live and then have access to a laptop where you'll put this game on your Peacock.
Oh,
maybe.
Is that the play?
Maybe.
Isn't this the same time as Oregon, Ohio, or Oregon, Michigan?
That game's going to be bad, which gives you a hint on what I think this game is going to be.
Good.
That's right.
Okay.
Josh, would you like to make a pick first?
I will make a pick first. I will say that heard a lot of Connor's about to tell you a wild theory he has.
No, that's not wild.
I do not agree. I will say Indiana -8.
At 7.5 now.
7.5. Okay.
Yep. We're getting helped by this.
I like it.
Okay. I don't. I think it's possible that Michigan State wins the game.
Indiana hater Connor.
Yeah, I got narratives to hold up. I'm gonna live and die by these, Josh. And if I die, I die. That's the deal.
All right.
If I die, I die. Right, Matt Rule? If we die, we die. That's me. I will die hating Indiana.
Okay.
I will die hating Indiana. And I'm to be completely honest with you, I'm not just picking them because I'm not on this bandwagon and everybody else is, and I'm mad about it. That's not why I'm picking them. I do think Michigan State is the kind of team that just does this. They do this.
They do
They
this.
play
one time a
well
year.
in big games, and I'm gonna say that this is a touchdown within a game that ends within a touchdown. Give me Michigan State to cover 7.5 at home, 2:30 on Peacock on Saturday, and our college football playoff eliminator game of the week.
That's right.
Oh yes, number 18 undefeated Pittsburgh is at number 20 Southern Methodist, who is a 7.5-point favorite. 7:00 on the ACC network. Winner is kind of has the inside track to the playoff. I don't know.
Winner of this game finally has something to put on their resume. Like, see, guys, see.
SMU's thing that they're hanging to right now is that they only lost by 3 to BYU, who we're not sure if they're a fraud or not either. SMU played BYU. I don't know what conference anybody's in, but give me SMU to cover the 7.5.
I have Pitt plus 7.5.
All right.
Because this game is weird. This conference is weird. I think it could just be chaos. I think SMU will win, though.
How many seconds of Pitt and SMU football have you seen this year?
I watched a
we're counting in seconds, not minutes.
I watched a little SMU BYU.
I think, I've flipped a couple times.
Has SMU played Miami?
I
don't think they have.
I don't think they have, no. Because they might play in the conference championship game. No, because they would have lost to Miami already. Miami's undefeated.
Oh, yeah, duh.
SMU finishes with Boston College, Virginia, and Cal. They might, if they get past this game, they're going to lose one game and go to the ACC title game, it seems like. Mustache Adam writes in.
Hi, Mustache.
For all the talk about untethering yourself, Happer has really tethered himself to the Indiana Stinks narrative. No, I would actually call that untethering myself. Because what you're doing by untethering yourself is you don't care about the repercussions. You don't care about the result. You don't care about what comes next.
If that chute doesn't open, you're fine with it.
If that chute doesn't open, I'm just dead.
Mm-hmm.
And so I will die with this. I think it's a great example of me untethering myself yet again. Mustache Adam.
Josh on the YouTube.
Hi, Josh on the YouTube.
Seems like you're picking against Indiana because you don't watch ball.
Sad. Very sad. I don't know who would accuse anybody of that. UCLA at Nebraska. These two teams meeting for the 14th time ever in their grand old histories. Nebraska is a 6.5-point favorite, 230 on the BTN. Josh.
Am I going first?
I think it's time for a hype speech, is it not?
I think so. This is what everyone's been waiting for. I hope it lives up to the hype.
Smack it.
Look, you've got a choice to make. It's a tough one, I know, but sitting it out, not an option. On one side, darkness. You quit. You admit that you're mentally weak. You choose to let apathy grow stronger as we dive head first into a nightmarish hellscape. On the other hand, the light. You announce to the world that you will not go quietly into that night as you pull out of a seemingly never-ending tailspin. The choice is yours, and quite frankly, it's a simple one. Woe is me, or joyous we. The only time I want to hear, here we go again, is when the boys are gassing up the truck to drive to Grand China Buffet because the team made another bowl game. But we ain't there yet. Do you want progress, or do you want to live in the past?
But Josh, UCLA is playing much better as of late.
Shove that analytics calculator where the sun don't shine, nerd. Troy Aikman could be handing it off to Jackie Robinson tomorrow, and it wouldn't stop us. Because we're at the cusp.
What?
The brink.
What?
The edge.
What?
The fork in the road.
What?
The verge of breaking through. And sure, it ain't the mountaintop, but we're at the cusp of the next level. A place we ain't been in 8 long years. And haven't the last 8 years pissed you off? You've had to put up with a lot of talk from a lot of people over those 8 years,
That's right.
and the time for talk is over. It's time to win number 6 by any means necessary. Because we don't apologize for wins, and we don't apologize for progress. You're the better team. Prove it by imposing your will. Raise hell And brother, pack your bowling shoes, cause the wait's over. See you at the Grand China Buffet, Nebraska 27, UCLA 14. Exercise the demons. No excuses. Time's up. We're going bowling.
Kind of think that might not have been all about football.
The last 8 years have pissed me off for a variety of different reasons.
Several different reasons.
I will say that. Yes. I'm generally angry for the last 8 years.
Sure.
And it's time for us to untether ourselves from that anger.
Yes.
Grand China Buffet, here we come.
Who's with me?
Yeah. What was your score? 27 what?
14.
All right. Josh, may I say first, that was maybe better than last week.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, like it was not as unexpected as last week. I was just wondering how you would come through again.
Sure.
Because it definitely seemed like the first time you got a wild hair and we're just like, give me a microphone. I'm going.
Yeah.
This one had to be a little bit more antiquated, right? But you found it.
There were expectations attached to this one that there were not last week.
You found it.
Yeah.
You found the road.
But I think I'm growing into this character.
Yeah, you could do this.
Yeah.
So okay, yeah, you're by the way, you're definitely. I mean, you get a week off next week because Nebraska's got a bye, but
I thought it'd be funny if I did a bye. We don't take weeks off. We're grinding tape.
Well, we'll see. Stay tuned. Never know. M. Bigley writes in.
I am Bigley.
It's November, not a November to remember. Chasing 5, 4 and 19. Use young guys should play analytics.
That's not
nerds. Shove it up your butts. Nebraska 21, UCLA 14.
That's not a blowout.
It's not.
People would be very mad on Monday if that
it'd be
was
a cover.
The score. It'd be a cover. It'd be a 6th win. But Connor, I think you know how this fan base reacts to things.
We'll see. They won't overreact.
Nah. We'll be fine.
21-14. That's your final. We're going bowling. See you at Grand China Buffet on Sunday. So did we find out an official meeting time for that, by the way?
I thought we were going Saturday night.
It's Saturday. Just everybody go straight there. Straight there.
They're going to have so many people there. They're not going to know why.
Well, they have a lot of crab rangoons.
A lot of crab legs.
Crab legs, things of that nature.
Too much work. I don't like crab legs.
Back with the polls. We'll tell you what to watch next on 1620 The Zone. couple comments in a row on the YouTube. J-Man says, Josh O off the top rope. PWP fan, can you smell what Josh is cooking? Travis, hell yeah.
Brother.
Chance, buffet boys, rise up.
I like that, the buffet boys.
Travis, let's ride mother truckers. And Dan is fired up. Wasted away again at China Buffet. It's Grand China Buffet. Thank you very much. Don't get it twisted, because there's a bunch of China buffets, but only one Grand China Buffet.
That's right.
To the polls at Happer Show on the JTech Instructions on Twitter feed, the first batch of the month of November is the hay in the barn for the election. Yeah, stop texting me. Whatever I'm going to tell you to do, stop texting me.
Stop texting me. There have not been undecided voters for this, nor will there be undecided voters.
Hey, do you know who you're voting for yet?
Nah, not a clue. I'll figure it out, though. Don't worry.
It's game time decision, Josh. Hayes in the barn. Yes, 64% say yes. Hayes in the barn. Are you an aggressive Q-tipper?
Forgot about that. Yes, I am.
No, I don't use them. I got earwax coming out the wazoo. 58% say no. Soft Q-tippers. Was Tops the Sigma or Skibbity toilet of the 1920s? That's a deep cut. I love it though.
That's possible.
Yeah,
I think
67% say yes. And finally, just posted, do you need a re-up on Caddyshack?
Oh yeah,
absolutely. 78% say yes.
Always. Can't have enough.
Josh, those are the polls. What are we watching today?
We're gonna watch football. How about that? Everybody on board with some football? I know some people
too
on
many
this
nights of football
don't like football.
Too many nights of football.
How about Sunday? Do you like football?
Sunday is great.
Okay.
Saturday is great, but Thursday,
CBS noon game, a battle of 5 and 3 teams. People forget Broncos and Ravens. Noon on Big Fox, the Dallas Cowboys play at noon. This has never happened before.
Whoa.
Cowboys Falcons, your matchup on Big Fox. Lions Packers, your 3 o'clock Sunday game. That's going to be the Tom Brady game, right?
Yeah.
I would think so. America's game of the week. And then we got a flex on Sunday Night Football.
Flex alert.
Colts, Vikings, you're in on Sunday Night Football this week. College football tonight, 6 o'clock, CBS Sports Network, Georgia State at UConn. Woo-hoo. 6:30.
Really?
On ESPN.
I got a hoo-hoo?
It did. I gotta remember that one for Grunt the Slate. South Florida at Florida Atlantic. And then 7 o'clock tonight on FS1, San Diego State at number 15, Boise State, the Ashton Genty show. Big noon kickoff and college game day in Happy Valley tomorrow for Ohio State, Penn State. Guest picker on game day, Keegan-Michael Key.
Classic. He'll be wearing his full James Franklin garb.
The only one who's ever gone to Penn State and become famous.
Yeah, wow.
Keegan-Michael Key.
Yeah.
And big
I guess Eli Manning. Chad Powers.
Yeah. And of course, our own Ellie French.
Very famous.
Very famous. And Big Noon is countering with Two Friends. I'm told this is a musical act.
Two Friends?
Two Friends. That is the name of the musical act.
Oh, boy.
Two Friends.
They
made a graphic for this duo.
Oh. Was this like a Weird Al situation?
I have no idea. But we'll all
just by their
together.
Pictures, they kind of look like looks like they're going for like a Weird Al situation.
I understand that they thought they were going to be up against a potential Game 7 of the World Series, but there is no 7 o'clock. There's no post 7 p.m. kickoffs Saturday night in college football. Terrible lapse in judgment.
This is Eli Soanes and Matthew Halper.
Jim Halpert's son?
Halper.
Oh, okay. Oof.
Dance pop progressive house.
Oh, are they
they're DJs.
Are they the chain smokers?
Basically.
Okay. I look forward to
Dear
not
God.
hearing them. Volleyball. Let's quickly transition to volleyball. Number 2, Nebraska. Number 7, Wisconsin. 8
Oh, they do big
tonight.
booty mixes?
Big booty mixes?
I've heard about the big booty mixes. Thank you, Black Cat. I didn't know they did big booty mixes.
Okay. Volleyball, a massive contest tonight. Nebraska, Wisconsin, 8:00 on BTN.
Yeah.
Get a nap in, I guess. I don't know, you weirdos.
Untether yourself.
That's right.
Nebraska.
Go Big Red. They also play Northwestern at noon on Sunday on BTN Plus.
That'll be less exciting.
It will. Creighton, pair
It's
games.
a sellout there. They were telling people that it's a sellout, but it's all Nebraska fans.
That's right. Sellout's a sellout. Doesn't matter how. Number 6, Creighton against St. John's tonight on Nebraska Public Media and 1180 The Zone.
Oh, we're on TV tonight?
Yeah. Wear your best.
Oh, I'm going to be wearing exactly this.
Well, you're also on TV Sunday, 1:00 against Villanova.
What's up with all this TV?
On Nebraska Public Media.
All right.
NBA doubleheader tonight on ESPN. Magic Cavs at 6, followed by Nuggets Wolves in Minnesota. That'll be an interesting one.
Go Nugs.
Treehouse of Horror 35 is on 7:30 Sunday on Big Fox for The Simpsons. And finally, Disney Plus, a new documentary special titled Music by John Williams. You can see and hear composer John Williams' full story with insights from filmmakers, musicians, and others he's inspired. Connor, what's your favorite John Williams score?
What did he score?
Jaws, Star Wars, Indiana Jones.
Wow, you're 0 for 3 so far.
Basically, Superman.
Okay, just why don't you keep on going?
Okay, we'll find one.
I mean, I've heard of all of these things.
Schindler's List.
Okay.
E.T.
I saw E.T.
Okay.
I saw E.T.
Jurassic Park, but we know you haven't seen that one.
Nope, because it's the same as Twister.
The exact same.
And I haven't
movie.
seen either of them.
Many are saying.
Really? Come on, give me some more. We're like 1 for 8 right now.
It really feels like it's more about you than John Williams.
Did he do The Lion King?
No, that was Elton John.
I like that one.
All right, I'll pull up the IMDb.
I bought his Wikipedia page. He hasn't done anything.
He hasn't done anything. He's won 5 Oscars. Okay. Just flames on the side of my head.
He's angry.
Oh, this is too.
I've heard of the big booty mixes, but not much John Williams.
That's America, ladies and gentlemen. Saving Private Ryan.
No.
Wow, this is a lot of work.
I need to re-up on Caddyshack.
I need to re-up on Caddyshack.
Yeah. Who did the score? They did.
Catch Me If You Can.
Whoa! That's a great score.
There you go.
Yeah, that's good. All right. I'm in on that guy. That'll be exciting. Look forward to watching that on television.
Home Alone.
I saw that one. Yeah. Josh, thanks.
Thanks, God.
That's the show. If you missed anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. The crossover is next.